Hosta mefta cinco basta. Hosta mefta juvre. Rishi labir groove snores ladil kor. Rishi labir usas nos dovre. Hosta mefta cinco basta. Hosta mefta juvre. Rishi labir groove snores ladil kor. Rishi labir usas nos dovre.
Yazor, why yazor, go, if not.
Zipa puptecano solo, poșticane uno, zipa plufa torpos de vei. Zumba cojdonizi nizi, rista music rož de play. Zica kumpa jumba noro, kumpa jumba hero, kumpa jumba opposite way. Oh, oh.
Yeah. Hero.
cinco, basta, hosta, mefta, juvrek, rishi, labir, groove, snores, lagelkor, rishi, labir, usa, snor, vrek. Hosta, mefta, cinco, basta, hosta, mefta, juvrek, rishi, labir, groove, snores, lagelkor, rishi, labir, usa, snor, vrek. Hosta, mefta, cinco, basta, hosta, mefta, juvrek, rishi, labir, groove, snores, lagelkor, rishi, labir, usa, snor, vrek.
Yazor, why, Yazor, go, if not.
A medium time in the future, in a galaxy not at all far away. We're playing Star Trek Adventures, an actual RPG that I didn't kit bash or anything. Hi everyone, welcome to our Star Trek game. My name's Philip and I'm Starfleet Command. Okay, so I kit bashed one thing, because Star Trek Adventures calls the person who runs it the Game Master, which I don't care for. Do something cutesy with your licensed RPG properties, people. That's all I request. Have it be something.
A Q?
I could just be a Q, but that's not the energy of tonight's game. So I'm Starfleet Command.
I feel like your energy is always that you're cute.
Oh, man.
That's
Cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, point being, we are, I know that this is our typical night for the horror game, and if anybody rolls a 13, nothing will happen with this, because this isn't the horror game.
Oh, you must be so sad.
I mean, I kind of am sad. Also, next week, guys, next week we got a new domain starting in our horror game, so come and get ready to join in for that, because it's going to be great. But for this week, we're going to be doing a Star Trek one-shot. Now, a funny thing happened on the way to this episode, which is that we kind of are throwing this together. We are using some quick start rules. I have basically figured out how this game works, Our players don't really know how it works thus far, so we're all going to kind of learn this together. But this is going to be a very RP-heavy episode, and for those of you who are only actors, RP does not, in this instance, stand for Received Pronunciation. It instead stands for role-playing. Well, because I'm going to ask a legitimate question, Counselor Quincy Vale.
Yes.
Did you genuinely think this whole time that we've been playing tabletop Received Pronunciation games?
I was hoping so, but after a while, I figured that we weren't.
You just thought everyone's
Which is why
accents
my
were really
accent
bad?
changed. Yeah.
That's funny. We got an L-Cars overlay here. We got some wonderful players. These are our most Star Trek forward people on this channel. I'm not saying they're the biggest Star Trek fans on the channel because somebody might be a sleeper fan. These are the most Star Trek forward fans. Does it also basically happen to be our Friday game? It interestingly does. I don't know if that's...
Hey, who would challenge me for biggest Star Trek fan?
I don't... what I'm saying is I'm not going to... I'm framing it in such a way that in case someone's a huge Star Trek fan, I'm not wrong. You know what I mean? Like if one of my I know none of my Tuesday players are.
I will challenge all of them.
If like one of those people...
I will challenge them with any of my 13 Star Trek board games.
That's a lot of Star Trek board games. 13, you say?
Yes. Turn the clock back.
Logic would dictate.
Logic would dictate. I don't know, but would logic? So in preparation for this, I got a Paramount Plus trial, and I watched the entirety of Strange New Worlds and much of Lower Decks, which is pretty funny, I gotta say.
It is. It's really
Strange
good.
New Worlds is real good, y'all.
Yes.
You know who I like is that security officer. Oh boy, I was a fan of her. But enough talk of what I'm a fan of. We're going to be playing a Star Trek game. Now, I am a bit of a Star Wars fan, in case people on this channel are unaware of this. I am capable of improvising Star Wars information very rapidly, because I've consumed so much media and built a 7,500-piece Millennium Falcon that's right behind me there out of Legos. I am not quite as much of a Star Trek person. I've spent a lot of time in the past several days on the Memory Alpha Wiki. And so the players, if I ever say anything wrong, please, use your best judgment of if it's a correction that needs to be made or if it's something that can slide.
I'm gonna actually you.
Go ahead.
So hard.
Well,
that sounded inappropriate. And I didn't mean it.
This is Friday night. This is our X-rated stream. It should be inappropriate.
That is true. To that also, yeah, all these shows are like TVMA. All these like Star Trek shows. Yeah. What the hell's up with that?
Yeah, no, the Discovery Plus shows have cursing and adult situations. Although weirdly, I feel like they're less sexy. Like that is my one massive complaint. There was a body swap episode on Strange New Worlds, and if you're gonna have an MA rating, take fucking advantage of it. And they didn't.
Yeah.
I am disappointed.
We are living in the world that Paul Verhoeven predicted in Starship Troopers, where everyone is naked but no one is horny.
Exactly. What the fuck? I want more sex in Star Trek. Thank you.
Well,
you didn't have.
There won't be any in this game.
I get rid of the in Star Trek part. I just want more sex. I'm done.
There won't be any in this game because this is going to be a real 90s Star Trek.
That was the most sexy one.
Horniest Star Trek of all. What are you talking about?
Horny but not sexy.
But there was a lot of sex in it.
Right.
Sex.
But it's like everyone. There are people who are hot and horny in it, but I don't think I think people look hotter now because of like the way that it's filmed and like makeup and everything, and like we just know how to like.
No one's ever been hotter than Deanna Troi. I don't know what you're talking about.
No one's ever been hotter than Jadzia Dax, so I'm sorry.
Okay, there is some 7 of 9 blasphemy, and I will not stand for it.
I don't.
Jadzia Dax.
I love her too.
But neither of them have a weird accent, which is secretly all I'm really after. So all of this is to say, we're jumping into some Star Trek stuff. This is going to be taking place at an indeterminate year during basically the run of the next generation, as that is the stuff I'm sort of most familiar with. I'm sure
In which case, none of us are in the correct uniform at all. I guess
Dan is in the correct uniform. Although, because see, already we're blowing it because we're aboard an Intrepid class starship. That technically means Lauren's in the right uniform.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yes. I did it.
But you're in an old uniform, and the two of you are just... You know how sometimes when, like, football teams will wear, like, the real old-fashioned, or, like,
Hell yeah.
It's just one of those
Throwback
days.
jersey?
It's just everybody's in their throwback uniforms. But you are all color correct for the time. So, for example, Zane or Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles, you are in an operations uniform as the chief engineer here, even though the style of uniform wearing that would indicate you're a command department. Memory Alpha Wiki. I think... Oh, why was I bringing that up? A reason. This game is going to be structured like those old episodes. There's going to be a teaser, and then you have 5 acts to solve your problem.
Ooh.
Do you have a timer going for these acts?
Good idea.
Are there commercials?
Or are we watching it on DVD?
You're watching it on DVD, so there might be commercials. I don't know. I haven't decided. If there were commercials, I'd want more, but that's funny. I think our overlay looks good. I'm happy with this L cars I threw together.
I like it.
I'm happy with this.
Mm-hmm.
I was typing in hex codes, man. Oh, also, you can't really tell on this because the background is all black, but Lauren really shamed me about all of the overlays on this channel. So this one is, like, cut out for this specific shape. So if somebody leaves this zoom, it's going to be a disaster and I'll have to switch, but it's fine. All right, well, that's my long intro here. So we're going to go ahead and get into the teaser. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Understood. Then that's a bad song for the teaser. Let's try that. All right, that's something. It needs to be more upbeat, like bum 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 bum. Captain's log. Stardate 49138.8. We've put in for routine systems maintenance at the Tivian shipyards. Unfortunately, for the bulk of the crew, 3 days of shore leave on Tivian 2 that was scheduled to overlap with this maintenance has been cancelled due to an extreme geomagnetic storm throughout the system. As such, the majority of our crew are now off duty, but still aboard the vessel. This is leading to a particularly intense bout of cabin fever, especially given that holodecks and replicators are among the systems currently inoperable, undergoing maintenance. So, 4 of the senior staff, who are currently aboard this ship, but unable to go down to the planet for some shore leave, are the senior flight officer, Lieutenant Commander Senek, the chief engineer, Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles, the chief medical officer, Dr. Gates Reynolds, and the ship's counselor and second officer, Counselor Quincy Vale. So, my friends, you're stuck aboard your ship. You're not on duty. The only senior officers who are still on duty are the captain, the first officer, and the operations officer. You all are basically free to do what you like, but you can't use the holodecks, and you can only eat rations or other food you have, because the replicators, the in-room replicators, are currently not operational. So, how might the 4 of you be entertaining yourselves under the circumstances?
Do we have a place similar to 10 Forward?
There is a place similar to 10 Forward.
We have a galley.
It's I'm gonna say on this ship, the USS Noteworthy, the sort of like the mess hall is more set up like 10 forward, than it is on like Voyager. So it's kind of more of like a bar zone. What is the name of this bar? I hadn't thought of this. We'll call the bar Full Impulse.
That's aggressive.
I like I've been there.
Then we'll call it Quarter Impulse. Maybe that's better.
No, Full Impulse is fantastic.
Impulsive decisions.
So as the four of you, who you all had plans, as senior staffs all often do, down on the ship, or down on this planet, you had some plans to sort of hang out, on kind of enjoying what Tivian 2 has to offer. But unfortunately now transporters and even shuttles, it's been deemed too dangerous to try to cross the current geomagnetic storm that is raging across the Tivian system to get down to Tivian 2, and since this is non-essential, everyone basically has to tough it out of the ship for a few days. So as the four of you were unable to venture down there, you instead decided to meet up at Full Impulse. So as we sort of, cut away from the ship, like with maintenance shuttles and things, we will cut to the doors of Full Impulse opening as the four of you walk in and pause to see the room more crowded and busy than you've ever seen it. It is basically shoulder to shoulder, wall to wall, with just junior crew, junior officers, and just unenlisted crew, just filling the space. The poor sort of like barkeepers are having to like open up basically like shipping containers of previously existing non-replicated beverages of an alcoholic nature, which they are handing out. You hear people complaining that they're already out of certain beverages. Obviously, this is a Starfleet crew, so no one is. There's no one's rowdy, but like you could tell the energy is irritated and the line is very long.
Well, so much for a respite from the ship.
Perhaps there's a quiet corner in which we can sit. Lieutenant Commander Giles, would you care to play a game of strategy?
I was gonna go talk to Ensign Lewis over there. I don't know if I have a shot or not, but I really, really think she might like me. Maybe if we invite her, we can kind of maybe wing this together.
Lieutenant Commander Giles, as a noted champion of Earth Past once said, you do, in fact, fail to succeed on every single opportunity in which you do not make a pass.
Was that Michael Scott or Wayne Gretzky?
I believe it was the athlete Wayne Gretzky.
Oh. My Earth knowledge is pretty limited.
Oh, you know what? In point of fact,
there.
You actually have extensive knowledge of human culture. That's one of your focuses. So I'll tell you what we're going to do as you sort of are thinking about this. I would like for you to roll. This would be I want you to roll an insight and a command. So that means you're trying to hit a 15 because your insight is 11 and your command is 4. So add those together to 15. However, here's the cool part. Roll your 2 d20s. If either one is below 15, you'll achieve a success. But if either one is below 4, you'll actually achieve 2 successes. So roll your 2 d20s as you try to think about what you know about this Wayne Gretzky council.
Oh, I got a 15 and a 7.
A 15 and a 7. So you score 2 successes. So please, right now, you've all started with 1 momentum. You've also all started with 1 determination. I can explain what those are later. But go ahead and click a second box of momentum. So in this game, the check boxes mean you have them, and you can then spend them as needed. So right now, Counselor Quincy Vale, as she begins kind of talking back to you, Senek, all about this Wayne Gretzky figure from Earth's ancient history, she really kind of launches into it and is on a roll. She really knows about this.
Yes, because, and I only got that confused because it's very commonly attributed to Michael Scott from, of course, The Office, which is one of the Earthlings' favorite, one of the Terrans' favorite TV shows. But Michael Scott quoted Wayne Gretzky, who played hockey, and so on and so forth.
Yes, I am unfamiliar with early 20th century, early 21st century Earth humor.
Oh, I know. That's why I was explaining. I know you like details and information.
Thank you, Counsel.
In the meantime, Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles, are you heading over to Ensign Lewis to try to make a move?
Absolutely.
All right. What about you, Dr. Reynolds? What are you up to as he sort of has discussed this? And at this point, the aliens are talking about The Office right now. They're talking about a 400-year-old TV show.
They're exhausting me with this trivial Earth knowledge. How long is the line?
Very long. Snaking.
I'm going to need to inspect whoever's at the front of the line for a suspected case of an extremely rare disease, and if I happen to order a drink while I'm up there, so be it.
Understood. So,
I'm the ship's doctor, after all.
So as you try to bluff your way up there, I am going to say that my good doctor, is going to be... So, you know nothing of how this game works at all, do you?
I don't, so we're going to find out.
So here's what you're going to do. Now, here's the situation. I'm going to let you know a couple things. As you do this, you can spend some stuff if you want to, if it's really important, but these resources are kind of hard to read a thing. You are trying to do something that is actually not super easy. Though you are the doctor, that's going to allow you to make this claim.
Yes.
Everyone in here's already tried their, I need this for this thing. And it is well known. It is well known that you are on leave as well. You've been talking to everyone while giving them the recent exams that you are going down to the thing. So everyone's aware that you are meant to be on leave as well. So
yes, but a doctor's
you need more than one success here. Okay? You need 2. In addition, you're going to be rolling. I'm going to say this is a presence because you're trying to intimidate people, so that's a 7. And I'm going to say this will be a... But it is medicine because, oh no, she's frozen. Well, we will come back to her in a moment. For now, Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles. If you would please explain to me what your plan is here with Ensign Lewis. Are you taking the advice of the aliens to follow in the actions of Michael Scott?
Simon Giles, he wants to take risks in life because he realizes he only has one life to live, and let's see.
See what I just did? I had to click a thing, so now there's 4 boxes.
Did it. You did it.
Yeah.
All right. So he's gonna take that shot because he doesn't want to miss every shot that he didn't take. So
okay,
he's gonna do it.
So
he's got the courage. He's gonna do it.
Understood. So Simon, you walk over to Ensign Lewis. What's your approach here? What's your plan?
Ensign Lewis, it's good to see you. Remember we were talking at the Warp Core earlier?
Yes, Lieutenant Commander. We talked almost all day, every day about,
What? How many Ferengis does it take to sell a shipment of self-sealing stem bolts?
It depends on how many they're trying to sell and what the... Lieutenant Commander. Oh no, Lieutenant Commander. I need you to roll a... So, for you, you're going to be rolling presence and command. This is you trying to, have cool presence and sort of, speak with some authority. So, you have to roll under a 10. So you have to roll 2 d20s.
2 d20s.
Got to roll at least one of them under a 10. And based on what you have at your availability, none of these will apply.
I rolled a 4 on one of them.
A 4 on one of them. So, she kind of, she sort of says this, but as you say this joke, she kind of laughs and says, That's not a bad joke. Are you trying to do jokes now?
I'm up for anything, really. What are you doing later?
Um,
Anything?
just hanging out on the ship because we're all trapped here.
Um, I mean, if you want to hang out somewhere in my general vicinity, you're always welcome. As I always say.
At this point, she kind of like is smirking, but like several of the other ensigns she's talking about are all just kind of like realizing what it is that's going on here. There's a real awkwardness at this moment as they're like, she will say, "Well, we were gonna, I don't know, I think we were gonna like just play poker or something later." I guess, and one of her friends starts coughing. And she's like, "Oh, but I think maybe we already have a full table. But maybe, I don't know, if you're doing anything, let me know what you're up to."
Oh yeah, and if you need a cheerleader for your game, as you know, I support anything. Maybe.
Are you, Commander Sedek, are you intervening here at this
Well,
point?
I'm trying to ascertain the reasonable probability of success of Lieutenant Commander Giles, and if it seems like Lieutenant Commander Giles is not succeeding in his objective, I would like to strategically intervene and invite him to sit down with me.
Understood.
Under the cover that I have secured the table we were looking for.
I'm going to say that under these circumstances, this is going to unfortunately require your insight as opposed to your reason, because you have to like read the emotional ideas of these people.
Yes.
And then I'm going to say, unless you have a different argument for me, it feels like this might almost be security. That's exactly what it's going to be.
Yes.
It's kind of a you're kind of trying to analyze this with that sort of discipline. So you roll 2d20, try to roll under an 11. Now, if we didn't say this earlier, if you really want something to work, you have two options available. One is called momentum. Momentum means that you can spend your momentum and gain one extra d20 to roll. You still only need one success, but now you have 3 chances instead of that. For every success over the difficulty that I've told you, so if I say if the difficulty is 1, you need 1 success. But like, so for example, if both of the dice you roll right now are under 11, you're going to succeed and get 1 additional momentum. So momentum is a pretty like you get it and spend it pretty quick. Determination means you will set one of your dice to a 1, which is basically a double success. So you automatically score 2 successes with it. But determination, you probably have just this 1 determination this mission.
Yes, I would like. This is. While I do wish to avoid seeing my colleague and who I would consider, I don't know if I would be what the humans would call a friend, but someone who I have more than a working relationship with, I would like to save this for later.
I think that makes perfect sense. So roll your 2d20. I kind of chose you as the person I was going to give the full list of options to.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate that I have rolled a 15 on both of my dice.
Oh, and I should mention, it is unfortunate, but at least you did not roll a 20. Because in this game, rolling a 20 provides us with a complication, which is sort of some big trouble. There's another mechanic here called threat that we're probably not going to get into tonight, where there's other things that happen, but basically I have a growing pool of things I can cause trouble with called threat. Okay, so...
Can I see if I pick up on the discomfort of the Lewis?
Ensign Lewis?
Ensign Lewis?
Go ahead. I will let you attempt this. You're about to have a real good number here. For you, this is medicine and insight, which is 16. So
Perfect.
Roll 2 d20s, and as long as one of them's under 16, I'll let you kind of know what you have. Because you're basically doing what your job is.
I rolled a 13 on my dread die. So
On your dread die.
But tonight is not that night.
So what did you roll?
A 13.
You rolled 2 d20.
Yes. Oh, and a 20.
Okay, cool. So the 20, is it a complication no matter what? there is a complication. So you always have to tell me if you roll a 20. Even if you succeed, if a 20 is rolled, there is a complication. And friends, I'm learning this game a little bit myself just here, so bear with me. Okay. You have two options for a complication right here. One is that this is going to make things more complicated, maybe a little bit worse for your poor friend, Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles. But there is a metagame action that you have available to you, Counselor. You can cancel this complication by buying it off and adding 2 to the threat pool. Right now, the threat pool is at 8. That's basically how much momentum I have for all NPCs and bad guys and such.
Oh.
So if you do this, it will go up to 10. But there won't be a complication in this situation.
No, I'll take the complication.
Understood. The complication is this. Hello. The complication is this, Counselor. You can tell that Ensign Lewis finds what Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles is doing to actually be kind of charming.
Okay.
You also know that she is in a relationship with Lieutenant Cross.
Oh, okay. But can I go ahead and proceed?
I suppose so.
Simon, did you want to go ahead and stand at the bar? The more people there, the more opportunities we might have to grab the bartender. So why don't we go do that?
Ensign Lewis, if you want to join us over there, feel free. I know you're playing poker.
I already have a drink. That line is hell. But you could get me another one if you're going.
Oh.
What do you... yeah, absolutely. What would you like?
They literally have one thing.
You got it. That's what you're going to get. It's coming.
God, big.
Right up your alley.
Big Jordan energy here. Dr. Gates Reynolds.
Yes.
So you went over there, kind of. They understood as whatever they've been up to. Let's just real quick. Could you please roll me 2d20? Is this so important to you that you would use a limited resource? By the way.
No.
Okay, cool. Then just roll 2d20 for me. And what you are trying to get under here is, what do we got?
11.
An 11. Okay.
Yep. And then a 19.
So, good news is no complication. Bad news is you did not hit your target value of 9 because you were kind of rolling something a little harder than typical. You kind of come up and you try to convince everyone that there's a medical emergency, and we'll say, unfortunately for you, 2 of your nurses are present, and one of them he's just like, no, you know what, actually, Doc, he looks totally fine to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Why don't you go to the back of the line and you can yell at me about this when we're back on duty in 4 days. And everybody like laughs, and you're kind of like, it's a real like.
He's gonna be scrubbing buffers for a week.
Well, you know what? Worth it. And as you walk back, you hear some people going, "Man, you're a legend. That was a legend. I can't believe you talked to a senior officer like that." He's like, "She's nice. It's fine. Whatever." But I will be scrubbing buffers for like a week.
Nice.
Yeah. So as you sort of rejoin the others at the back of the line, you see that Simon Giles has this weird pep in his step. As if kind of like thinking that like something may come out of this because he's gonna get her the only drink they have and everything's gonna be great. As the 4 of you are gathered, and sort of ensigns and crewmen around you are giving you a bit of a berth, but still no one's offering you their place in line because everyone's just miserable. It also none of you are like in like a security role or stuff. And Counselor, are you pretty strict? you are the second officer, so occasionally you're in charge of, like, you know, doing stuff. But I mean, do you care that everyone's out of uniform right now? They're not on duty, so it's fine. But there may just be a weird vibe to it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, only when I'm in command, then I'm very much in command. However, I'm able to separate work and life.
That's a really important trait. In fact, that literally is one of your talents that I gave you. You have a talent called Clear Boundaries. All of this is to say that as you are all sort of standing there waiting, the shenanigans in the line, you hear the odd kind of like chant going on as like people are trying to like make some game of this, but no task rolls are required to tell that there's an edge in here. The ship is like there's a tension going on. However, it is at this moment that as you're all sort of glancing out the window, you see that geomagnetic storm that's happening here in this system is actually getting pretty close to these shipyards. And sure enough, you hear other people sort of glancing out and saying, "That doesn't look great." A couple of ensigns kind of near the windows that are saying, "Are we okay? Do we need to like get out of here?" Senek.
Yes,
or Giles, but let's have Senek do this. Yeah, Senek, go ahead.
Do I feel like I should start heading to the bridge?
I want you to make a reason plus con. And one of your features is actually, I'm going to let you use this a lot. A lot of times you get to use con rather than engineering when engineering should apply, just because you're sort of able to view everything through that. So roll 2d20, you need to roll a 14 or under.
It is with, well, I would not say with great sadness, because that is something that I do not experience. But
thanks to Koldenar, yeah.
I believe the human term is that I regret to inform you that I have not rolled. You said a 15 or under?
A 14 or under.
14 or under? I have not rolled a 14 or under. I have in fact rolled a 17 and a 19.
17 and 19. So fortunately, no complication, but you have no clear sense. So this is actually, and this is something that is in fact kind of a difficulty for many Vulcans, but you in this case, when you're presented with a situation that is not like you kind of can't, you don't know what the logical response right now would be.
Well, this seems like it would be something more suited for a science officer to analyze.
That is probably the case. Unfortunately, both your science officers here are very medical, but you could always turn to your chief engineer.
Yes. Lieutenant Commander Giles, do you feel that the ship is in danger with this close proximity of these geothermal phenomena?
I don't know. Sometimes they appear pretty volatile, and it's a crapshoot. But let me.
All right. So, Lieutenant Commander, now here's where we're getting to someone who, he's got some low stuff on this, but the Lieutenant Commander has a 12 for reason and a 5 for engineering, so please roll 2d20, and all you gotta do is roll under 17 on one of them. Not only that, you have power systems. So, what'd you roll?
I rolled a 5 and a 4, so...
Guess what? Because you rolled a 5 and a 4, sir, this has to do with the ship's power systems. Rolling under a 5, because you have a 5 as your discipline of engineering, means you get 2 successes. So you just scored 4 successes. So please give yourself 3 momentum.
Oh, excellent.
Now, and what you're aware of is simply this. The ship is in no danger, but it is possible that were there to be a serious power surge while various systems were in the process of being reset, that could be very problematic for those systems in a longer term. You have no concern about the warp drive, you have no concern about the engines, you have no concern about main power, but you have a mild concern that if this storm passes over the vessel, which it's about to do, while the replicators or the holodecks like or sort of some of these systems among others. It's mainly the replicators, which is holodecks include replicators among their systems. That's why it's happening. You do know that could be dangerous, and in fact,
they are these biogel packs.
And in fact, that's for the computers, right? I'm genuinely asking. Isn't that how that's how the computer systems work on this ship?
Yeah, it's the bioneural gel pack system.
Yeah, the bioneural gel pack system. That's part of why I didn't want to have this ship on it, because I didn't quite get all. I know that I remember that from Voyager.
We have some like biological components of ships that are not known to previous classes.
Precisely. So, Giles, that could be a big problem. If this thing hits, some of what's going on for these replicators could be a big problem. And I'll also mention something that you're well aware of with these multiple levels of success you just have. If all the replicators go out, you guys will actually die. Because replicators are how you breathe on a starship. They don't have air tanks anymore. Replicators suck in the CO2 and put out oxygen. Fun fact, right? It's pretty cool, right? Memory Alpha Wiki.
Is that canon?
Yeah, it is. I thought that was really cool.
Damn you. Damn you for knowing that.
There are redundancies, of course, and you guys are at a starport, and there's limited, like, you don't think anyone will actually die, but like that could turn this into.
But we could have to evacuate.
Yeah. So.
Great. Okay, fantastic.
And so Chief Engineer Giles, as you sort of look out and see all of that, you have this moment of like, whoa, okay.
So, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but if it hits right as the systems are rebooting, we could have some real problems on our hands. I mean, the gel packs, the replicators, it could really mess up the computers. I don't know, it's not looking good.
The crew's morale.
Yeah.
That would indeed be a problem.
You're gonna have your work cut out for you, Counselor.
Well, that's if we survive. Let's work on that first. What do you think?
Do I know if it will be possible to move the entire shipyard away from this?
Ooh, to move the whole shipyard. Make another reason plus con. Honestly, let's have this be daring plus con for you. It's the same number, but it's fun for you to have a daring sort of vibe.
It is the same number. I have rolled one success and one non-success.
With one success, this was
11.
Okay, cool. So this is not a particularly difficult or dangerous.
There's nothing special on there, yes.
With that roll, yeah, you would think that moving the whole shipyard is going to be prohibitively difficult. To move this ship would be fine, but the shipyard will probably be hit with it. But, I mean, everyone has shielding up. It's really only going to be a problem for vessels that are currently in the midst of any kind of, like, resets, power cycling, that sort of stuff.
Then I will suggest the group. I believe it is imperative that we start bringing crew members from other vessels onto ours, or onto what is the word I am looking for? That we start assisting in the transport of crew members from vessels that cannot survive this with certainty onto vessels that can.
No vessels will based on what Giles said, there are no vessels here that are under any threat of damage or destruction, other than ships that might have a system fried by the power surges.
Right. So then I suggest that we do I know if there are any ships that fit those criteria?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm gonna roll as far as you can tell, there are no ships that would be damaged by this storm other than yours.
I see. In that case, perhaps we should evacuate the ship.
I mean, couldn't we just get out of the way of the storm? I mean, how big is the storm?
Storm is looking like a pretty big geomagnetic storm front sort of is moving through here. It's large. You could try to get out of the path of it, but at this point, and in fact, because
like piloting check to know, like,
yeah, sure, make a do a con and reason. Sure, that's fine. 14, 2d20.
I rolled double ones there.
Double ones. So, give yourself, and because of propulsion systems, this would have counted away. Give yourself 3 momentum.
Mm-hmm.
You would need to be at the con, like, now. You would need to be at the bridge, and you would need them warming up because like the engines are cold. You would need it like move. Everyone would need to run to their stations and move it right away.
In that case, I will look at Counselor Vale, and I'll say, Counselor, if we wish to outmaneuver the storm, I need to go now. Is this something you wish I do?
Well, to the bridge. I'll go with you.
All right, then I will stand up and start moving towards the turbo lift.
Do I have any patients in sickbay who are immobilized and unable to move?
No one at present is no one is injured in
I don't have
that
to worry about
situation.
any of my patients.
Yeah,
Okay.
and no one's saying there's danger to people. They're saying there's danger to the vessel. There's danger
Well,
to...
I mean, if life support goes out, then there's danger to the people.
Life support would be a bigger thing. And in fact, I was talking about that with the replicators, but the air replicators are on the life support systems, not the general, like, in-room replicators.
Okay, alright.
But the point is it uses the same tech. Okay, so, all of this is to say,
I'm a doctor.
Lieutenant Commander, you're gonna run for it. Are you asking anyone else to run for it?
Do I know where everyone else would be best served to aid in this circumstance?
You probably need someone to turn on the warp drive.
Yes.
Or the impulse, the engines.
Giles, I require you in engineering, if that is okay.
I'm on it.
All right. So, my friends and neighbors, if you guys are running and you're also going to the bridge, Counselor Vale, is that correct?
Yes. However, is there anywhere else that I could be more of use?
I'll tell you what. On the run, I'll let you make that roll. Gates Reynolds, you just kind of slide up in line as they rush off to go do God knows what they're doing.
Sure.
Okay. So, Counselor...
I'm gonna need a shot of Serene Brandy to deal with this situation.
Counselor, I'd like you to first roll an engineering and reason. So that would... Or engineering and control. Let's have it. So roll 2d20, and your target is 11. You need 1 success.
I got 2 successes, a 9 and a 4.
A 9 and a 4. You have no other... Okay, so give yourself 1 momentum. So click 1 momentum. And you actually think that you would be best served on the bridge, like activating the operations station.
Okay.
Okay.
I will continue on.
Okay,
then.
so as the two, as Senek and Vale run to the bridge, as Giles runs to engineering, I need all 3 of you to make a command fitness roll. For you, Counselor Quincy Vale, that is a 13. For you, Simon Giles, your target is a 10. And for you, Senek, your target is a 9.
How many do we roll? Just 1?
2. Just 2.
Oh.
You always roll at least 2.
Oh, I see.
So if you get it,
Oh gosh.
20's bad.
20 is bad. 20 is a complication. Now, you can get rid of the 20 by paying me off in terms of threat.
Let's
I
make
think
this complicated.
Sounds good. So you have... What was your other one, though? Was it a success?
14.
So not a success.
That was not a success.
Okay, so basically Giles runs, and he just runs into people playing Frisbee in the hallway. Senek, you run and you don't make it. You don't roll a success.
I am getting... I am more used to using this human term that I regret to inform you that I have rolled a 10 and a 17, both of which do not meet the success criteria.
Counselor Vale.
A 16 and a 3.
16 and a 3. So your 3 will make it. So basically, you and Counselor Vale get separated, Senek, as a conga line is moving through one of the corridors. Vale manages to get into a turbo lift. She's taking it up to the turbo lift. Senek and Giles are stuck down below, near full impulse. Counselor Vale, the doors open onto the bridge, where there's just a couple of like skeleton crew just like on duty watch who kind of look back at you. but then they look out the view screen where you see the storm is almost right on top of you. And that complication we were talking about is that the storm hits right now. So suddenly, out of nowhere, these sort of like weird kind of almost like lightning storm in space style anomaly, as this geomagnetic storm begins to sweep across the ship, and sort of one of the crew, just there's an ensign kind of, here just turns to me and says, "Commander, what are we?" And suddenly the whole ship lurches slightly, doesn't knock over. Everywhere on the ship you see the lights kind of go like, "Room."
Oh, brother.
And Lieutenant Commander Giles, you know that it just hit. But everything seems perfectly fine. And then Counselor, your comm patch goes off. You hear the voice of your operations officer, Marvin Dobbs, saying, "Counselor, can you, Counselor, can you please, can you please come to the main replicator banks, to the industrial replicator banks? We've got a bit of a situation."
Yes. What's going on? Can you brief me?
Actually, no. You don't say that. Instead, the camera pushes in on your face dramatically as music swells, and then end teaser. Jesus, that was a long teaser, guys.
Teaser?
And at that point,
At that point, the episode fucking teasers.
And that, yeah, there's a long one. And then we see space.
The final frontier.
Space, and then you hear the captain's voice. Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Noteworthy. Its continuing mission: to support the peace and justice on behalf of the Federation, to render aid to those that need it, and to investigate matters that no one else can. Starring Ethan Douglas Jorgens Jr. as Captain Harold Winter. Valerie Darcy as Commander Grace Maxwell. Also starring Zane Swords as Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles. The Rose Explodes as as Counselor Quincy Vale. The Art of Danliness as Commander Sennick. Olivia as Dr. Gates Reynolds. Lion Briar Forster Tuscadero as Lieutenant Marvin Dobbs.
I'm
Incredible.
Brilliant.
It's
Brilliant.
Wonderful, beautiful, amazing. 10 out of 10.
A title comes up at this point.
Warp
in
10.
that Creely font. In blue with quotes. Replicant. Counselor Vale, you enter the industrial replicator banks, which is kind of down like near the cargo bays and the engineering deck. It's kind of like where sort of like you fabricate larger pieces that aren't just for rooms. You see that the captain is striding in, followed by his first officer. They're both in uniform, and you see that that Lieutenant Marvin Dobbs, the ops officer in his yellow uniform, is just like kind of like holding his hair, like I can't even. He's just hitting pads. This makes no sense. I don't. And the captain says, "Marvin, calm down, friend. What's the trouble?" And in addition, Grace, Commander Maxwell's like, "Spit it out, man. This is important." and he will explain to you. Something happened to the. I don't understand. We had a major power surge to the something with the what are they called? Biofluid computers. Liv?
Bioneural gel packs.
The bioneural gel packs. We've seen a power level surge in the bioneural gel packs. It's like nothing I've ever seen. I don't understand what happened. We were increasing our calculation capacity for the replicators. It was by orders of magnitude. I've never seen anything like it. The captain says, "Slow down, Marvin. Just tell us what happened." And he says that, and he points to the replicator bank. And Counselor, you look down and see this shape inside one of the massive replicator banks. A shape that is sort of smoking or misting. And then the shape turns up, a face, sort of like large black eyes, like long sort of ears, this strange sort of scaly green skin as it... And the captain says, "What the hell is that? How did it get aboard?" And he says, I don't. And he says, "Give me the doctor." Dr. Gates Reynolds, you get a ping. The captain is requesting your presence.
Oh, yes, of course.
Doctor, I know you're not on duty, but if you're still aboard the ship, get down to the industrial replicator banks at once.
Of course, sure.
Captain, what is this?
Was I like 1 away from getting my drink?
Yes, you were. A few people were intimidated by you. At this point, the captain says, "I don't know, but we need to." And he says, "We have to make sure this thing's okay." And Grace Maxwell, Commander Maxwell, says, "Captain, there's an unidentified alien aboard the vessel. We need to quarantine this at once." Says,
Captain, are you sure? I'm a doctor, not an engineer.
"Unfortunately, this is a medical matter, I believe." He kind of steps forward and goes, "Hello, friend. We mean you no harm. But this thing on the ground is just..." Counselor.
Can I roll an analyze? Can I analyze it?
Absolutely.
What do you call them in this system?
They're called tasks. So
can I task?
you're going to make a task roll. Here's what you're going to roll.
Yes.
I'm going to say that based on how you operate and who you are, this is actually going to be insight, not any medical stuff, because you have no idea what species this thing is. You're simply trying to get into its thing. So this is insight plus medicine. That's a 16. But this is a completely alien creature. You need 2 successes.
Okay.
You're going to roll 2 d20s. You need them both under 16. Now, if you want to, you could spend one of your momentum.
I would like
to give yourself an extra die. To get 2 extra die, you have to spend 2 more momentum. So you have to spend
give you an extra die.
What's that?
So momentum give you an extra die.
1 momentum is 1 extra. 3
How do
momentum.
We get more momentum?
When you exceed a task by more than the difficulty. All right, so so click off 1 of your momentum, and now roll 3 d20, and you need 2 of them to be under 16.
Oh! 3 of them are. And I rolled another 13, but that doesn't count tonight.
What is the lowest of these, though?
7.
7. Okay, cool. So you have 3 successes, so you needed 2, so click your momentum back.
Yes.
Having succeeded at this. All you know is that you are dealing with an entity that is currently in physical pain and extreme disorientation.
Okay. Captain, this creature is in extreme pain and is extremely disoriented as well.
I was afraid of such a thing. We have to look out for this creature. However, he got aboard. We should get him to sickbay at once.
Where have I been called to? Engineering or sickbay?
The captain will say, the captain will actually hit and say, I need an emergency transport. 3 to, he'll include everyone but Marvin. So he'll say 4 directly to sickbay and intercept Dr. Gates on her path. Get her there as well.
I'm a doctor, not an elevator.
So basically, suddenly, Counselor, the captain, the commander, and this entity disappear to sickbay. As you arrive, a hologram comes on and says, "Please state the nature of the medical emergency." And he says, "The doctor's on her way. Just check out this creature for now." Go ahead.
Can I yell, throw up a containment field?
Oh, you can.
In sickbay now?
You are not, but they are there.
I much prefer turbo lifts. I don't know why we're doing this.
You have not been caught yet. But so you throw up a containment field, they will sort of do that pretty directly. The captain's sort of looking at this. Senec and Giles. I'm going to say that as senior officers, given what was going on, you guys can actually be hearing this on your comm badges. You can be aware of this. So if you want to make your way to sickbay, you know that's where everyone's going. Alternately, Giles, if you want to make or if either of you want to make your way down to the replicator banks, you could do that as well.
The ship is my baby, and I got to just make sure it's okay after that storm.
Understood. So you're going to go...
Assuming that Lieutenant Commander Giles is heading to the replicator banks, I will meet him there, as I believe that to fly the ship, one must know the ship.
Understood. Very good. So you two then will head down. You're basically going to the last point of stuff. You haven't caught up with the teleportation. The emergency medical hologram puts a containment field around this creature, begins analyzing it. I will actually roll on its behalf. I do not roll under its target, so it is baffled by what's going on. However, Gates, as you're sort of moving, suddenly you feel like a lock on you, and you feel yourself teleporting. Like, and suddenly you're in sickbay. You see the captain, the commander, and the counselor are gathered around a containment field in which is one of your medical beds, and your emergency medical hologram...
without my permission?
Is what?
I was teleported without my permission.
Yes, you were.
Captain, what have we said about non-consensual teleportation?
Doctor, it's an emergency. A being needs your help. And he gestures. And you see this strange green alien on this bed, kind of...
Do I recognize the species?
Never seen it before. And your emergency medical hologram says, "Doctor, I am at a loss. I have no understanding of this creature."
Well, of course you don't. You're a machine.
He deactivates.
Deactivated. Okay. Can I run a scan to try and figure out what is going on with this creature?
Sure.
Okay.
So for you, I'm going to say that this will be medicine, which is your forte.
Yes.
I think that this, however, is going to be... Do you want to do reason or insight? Your insight is a little higher than your reason. Your reason's going to be you sort of trying to rely on what you know of various sort of creatures. Would be insight is just you're kind of going with your gut.
Gut? I'll go with insight. I'm an insight bulldog. I'm definitely.
So the difficulty for this, Dr. Gates Reynolds.
Yes.
Is a 3.
Meaning...
So you have to roll 3 successes. Be aware that any dice you roll under 5 are going to count for 2 because you do have a focus in emergency medicine. Would you like to spend any momentum or determination for this test?
Okay, so I have to roll. The success means I need 3 successes. How many?
You need 3 successes. You're going to roll 2 d20s.
2 d20s.
Mm-hmm. But anything under...
3 successes if I'm rolling 2.
Anything 5 or under counts as 2 successes. And anything 16 or under counts as 1 success.
So I need to roll low on this.
You want to roll really low in this system. A 20 is a complication and means something bad happens. Do you want to spend momentum? Okay. So, in addition, you could spend 1 momentum and then you'll roll 3 d20s. Or you could spend your 1 precious determination and that gives you 2 automatic successes. But it's the only one you get for the session.
I'll use my momentum, but not my determination.
Understood. So roll 3 d20s. And hope that they're all under 16 and some are under 5.
I rolled a 1.
Okay, so that is 2 successes right there.
I did not use my momentum.
Well, what were the other ones? Because that's only 2 successes. Oh, I see.
Ooh, 17. So maybe I did need it.
Hopefully you make it here. Yeah.
Okay, 4.
4. So you managed to get 4 total successes because 2 of them are under 5. So give yourself 1 momentum back.
Okay, excellent.
In addition, your instincts take over, and you can tell something's wrong with this creature breathing. The organs are familiar but strange. They seem extremely... almost simplistic. But understanding this, you manage to determine a way that you can sort of like insert a breathing tube for the moment, and you sort of play around with different types of atmosphere, and sure enough, the creature begins kind of just looking up at you. And then, Dr. Reynolds, something very strange happens on your scanners.
Yes.
The organs that this creature uses to breathe adapt, almost in response to what you've done. Almost understanding, oh, I need to be more open. Oh, I need more of this substance in me. The organs become slightly more lung-like.
Fascinating biology. Like it's evolving in real time, adapting to its environment.
Adapting in real time to its environment. Well, I'm glad for it. Is it okay? What species is it? Can we identify it?
I don't know what species it is.
Is it adapting to attack us?
I think it's simply adapting to breathe.
Counselor, please make an insight meets security for you. That's what these would be. So that will be a 13. So roll 2d20 and you need 13s or lower.
I did not achieve that. I got an 18 and a 19.
Okay. So you're this thing is too alien for you to even understand what it's up to.
Yes.
As you guys look at this creature, we're going to cut down to the gentleman with old Marvin Dobbs as you two rush into the industrial replicators. You see that Dobbs is just in this, it's full on this mode.
I will go over to Dobbs. I will put a hand on his shoulder. And wait, sorry, what was his rank again?
He is Lieutenant.
Yeah. I'll say Lieutenant. Breathe. Take
It's
one
good
deep
advice.
breath. Take one deep breath in. Deep breath out. Repeat this process.
Oh, I see.
What has happened?
Listen. Something, Chief, here, take a look at this. This seems, I don't understand what's going on. This is levels impossible.
Let me see. Let me give it an eye.
Okay.
And I
want you to do. It's reason and engineering once again. You're using your specialty, so this is a difficulty of 2. But if you get higher, it'll be better. Yes, Senate, go ahead.
Is there a way that I can assist?
In fact, there is a way you can assist.
Okay, because I understand that my knowledge of the ship, in this capacity, pales in comparison to Lieutenant Commander Giles, and as such, I will defer to his expertise. So here's how you assist in this. You're going to help him out. Go ahead and make a reason plus engineering. You don't get to use con for this. Just roll that. I have achieved a 7 on one of my dice, and I have achieved a 16 on the other.
Okay, and in fact, we're going to go ahead and give you the success, but I think how it works is you might only roll 1 when you do these. When you do the assistance.
Would you like me to I can...
No. You know what? I don't know that, because again, I'm learning this game with you guys, so we're just going to say that worked for now. So you've achieved him once. Yes, roll just 1. It would be 1 because...
I shall re-roll 1 die.
Just 1 die, yeah.
That is a 2.
Perfect. Okay, and that's actually under... Oh, yes. I'm 99% sure you don't get to do extras, though, when you're assisting. But
okay.
You've given him 1. So, Lieutenant Commander, roll 2 d20s. You just need 1 success.
I have 1 success. I got a 5.
A 5. What is your engineering score?
5.
That is actually 2 successes. So with his success, you have a total of 3 successes. So go ahead and give yourself 1 momentum back. So basically, that's how you can help people. You roll 1d20 to kind of like boost them, but like they're still sort of like, you know, the primary thing. So you assist him, and basically we'll say you start sort of collating some information because something very strange just happened. This replicator just fired, pulling various random pieces of information from throughout the ship, throughout the computer banks. Now, Lieutenant Commander Giles, you are well aware that a replicator, though entirely capable of synthesizing, amino acids to become meat or something so that you can have a steak, a replicator cannot create life. This is because what a replicator is doing is it has nowhere near sort of the memory to create something with that complexity. You're simply filling in the details. Like it says, here's a cup, and it's kind of like, just put this kind of atoms in this space, and it does it. It becomes a cup. A cup created by a replicator is nowhere near as complex as like an actual cup. There's not the variation. There's not all of the stuff. And in terms of tools, that's actually great, but there's no way you could create a living organism. It's also why replicator food doesn't taste right, because it's sort of just too kind of like, you know, out of the box. Clearly, what Lieutenant Dobbs believes, and according to this data, what seems to have happened, is that the replicator has just synthesized an organism. And not a small single-cell organism. It has synthesized a complex multicellular creature.
It's like the replicator, you know, it's supposed to, I mean, just create matter and things that aren't alive, but this is alive. It's given birth. The replicator gave birth.
This, it doesn't make any sense. And as he sort of says, but this is supposed to be impossible.
I mean, how many times have we said that before? God, I mean, it doesn't make sense, but there's got to be a better explanation. What?
Yes, Senek, it's not logical that this could happen, right? Come on, buddy.
It is not impossible. It seems impossible, but the fact that it's happened means it is not impossible, and therefore, however improbable, there is some logical way that it might happen.
Oh my god. So, he puts a hand against the giant industrial replicator. It's a mommy. And off that, we'll cut to commercial. Wait, hold on. I'm going to put up a commercial screen for a second and come back. I'm just going to put the break screen. Hold on. And we're back to Act 2. Boom, 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 boom.
Obligatory shot of outside of the ship as we zoom back in on the plot.
Exactly.
This is
Captain's
a
log.
genetically modified comfort tribble, by the way. It can't procreate.
I have one for my patients as well.
Oh, yeah.
Supplemental.
We must have gone to the same breeder.
Well, I borrowed it from you.
Guys,
Don't you
the
remember?
captain's doing his
Yes.
captain's log.
Oh, sorry.
Captain's log. Supplemental. The impossible seems to have happened thanks to a rogue geomagnetic storm and a power cycle in our replicator banks. Somehow, something that everyone has said is completely impossible seems to have occurred. A replicator has replicated a sentient organism. We now cut, finally, to the command room. So, in the conference room, we have the captain, Harold Winter. We have Commander Grace Maxwell sitting to one side, Counselor Quincy Vale on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
We have Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles and Lieutenant Martin Dobbs sort of representing the tech side. We have our Lieutenant Commander Senek, our Vulcan. And we have our medical officer, Dr. Gates Reynolds. Dr. Reynolds, the creature, has been stabilized down in sick bay. Is now resting without a breathing tube. But as we
Still
sort of
in a containment field?
it is in a containment field. And as we sort of cut back here, we sort of finish with Dobbs kind of finishing up his explanation for how this happened. Basically, it looks like the power surge flooded the sort of the memory banks and buffers, and basically we were able to achieve a level of extrapolation, several orders of magnitude over what a replicator's ever been considered to be able to create. I mean, this makes no sense.
So it had a baby.
I'm gonna call that one Mama. Captain says, all levity aside, ladies and gentlemen, if this is true, we've just witnessed something that was supposed to be impossible, is miraculous, but has major implications. Doctor, do you think the creature is going to survive?
It seems to be adapting. Can I run some more scans and see if I have any reason to be concerned?
Tell you what, yes, go ahead and let's have you make, my good doctor, another medicine and reason. So this is going to be more of like the reason I'm trying to figure it out. So this is just a one success roll. It's a roll 2d20. You need to get under 15 on these.
Okay. Oh, good one. Okay, 12.
Okay, one success.
Yes. I only needed one success, right?
Only need one success. But did you roll both?
Yes. No,
What was
I
the
rolled
other
19 and 12.
19, 12, great. So the sort of, you can kind of explain that the creature, as far as you can tell, is somewhat mammalian, somewhat reptilian, is bipedal, has a basically humanoid shape. It probably would stand about a meter tall, maybe a little less. It seems to have approximations of most organs. You noticed that providing a minor amount of like electrical impulse over its chest cavity caused its heart to become extremely regular.
Okay.
So in other words, you seem to be able to almost push it towards certain things. Nevertheless, the creature's adaptations do not appear to be like a full-on shapeshifter or something. This creature is simply maybe just needing some help, and I'm gonna I want you to make one more, this will be an insight medicine, make one more roll, so you need a 16 or lower, roll 2d20.
How many? Roll 2d20.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got a 16.
Okay.
And I got a 12.
Great. So give yourself one more momentum because you got one extra thing there. And basically the way this game works is you always roll 2d20 unless you're assisting, when you only roll 1, or you're spending something to give yourself more. So, Dr. Reynolds, as you sort of think about this, you're in the middle of describing this insight strikes you. Lieutenant Dobbs was just explaining how the replicator often provides incomplete information, and sort of in the printing or creation, in the matter sort of arrangement, it kind of just fills in the gaps. It's almost like this creature's gaps are still being filled in. It's almost like this creature is still accepting a certain amount of additional information.
Like where I'm printing on it.
Effectively.
I don't know how I feel about that ethically, to be honest.
Well, if you're helping it stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. But is it permanently changed when we do this?
No roll required on your part, Doctor. Once you explained its lungs to it a little better, its lungs seemed to codify in that session, in other words.
So, permanent. Theoretically. Well,
the captain seems concerned.
Keeping it alive.
Pardon my intrusion. Have we tried communicating with it?
Well, not yet. I suppose its language center, like anything else, would be informed by its environment. So,
At this point, the
communicate
commander.
with the creature?
At this point, the commander is going to pause and say, "Hold on 1 second, though, sir." What that means is if you communicate with this thing, if what Dr. Reynolds is saying is true, and Grace Maxwell, she's like intense, you know, she's kind of like the attack dog of the ship. She's like, "Isn't it possible, Doc? Just let me see if I understand what you're saying. If you communicate with this thing, you might be teaching it how to communicate."
Correct.
In that case, it seems logical that I be the one to communicate with it.
Why do you think that, Lieutenant Commander?
I studied communication between beings. So maybe it should be me.
I'm sorry, is there some nuance I'm missing? It simply needs to know how to talk to us.
Yes, but there is nuance to communication, and those are things that, well, why don't we teach it together? I think communication is both logical and
I don't think Vulcan, no offense, Lieutenant Commander, but I don't think Vulcans actually excel at communication.
That's
If I am able to
fair.
impart upon it a way of logical thinking, then it will be able to.
Thinking is not communication. Communication is simply
then you'll be able-
expression of one's thoughts.
May I? If we are strictly talking about language itself, I do think that Lieutenant Commander Senek might be, very adept at teaching it actual language. However, communication, I think that's where I may come in handy.
What about binary? I mean, it's computer. I mean,
We can see what it's most
It is.
receptive to. That's a great idea.
And as you say that, Giles, basically Dobbs is like, "You're right, this thing's basically an android, or a cyborg, or a... Doc, is it flesh?" And I will say, Dr. Reynolds, this is an organic creature. But Grace Maxwell sort of slams her hand down, as you guys know she does. This happens. This isn't out of... But she slams her hand down and she says, "Captain, I'm sorry. But based on what the doctor just said, right now, this is just a breathing, heart-beating sack of meat in there. If you start teaching it to communicate, you're turning it into a sentient creature."
If it's sentient, it's sentient.
If it can learn, it's sentient.
But if no one teaches it, it won't learn. This thing shouldn't exist.
That's not remotely how it works. You're becoming Dr. Frankenstein. No, Captain, you should let myself and Counselor Vale speak
You
to...
can call me by my first name. It's fine.
I think we would be the best adept to making sure that this creature is appropriately cared for and treated with dignity.
Senek.
What is the reputation of our captain? Like, what is he known for?
Ooh.
Your captain is
Known for fucking.
just a... Here's the thing. Your captain is a smooth
Ew.
operator. Your captain is a very, like... I don't want to say he's like a young life leader. He's very like... He's so positive... And he's, like, so, like, welcoming, and he's always describing how, like, you guys always have to help people, and, like, it's, like, really important to, like, follow the Federation stuff. But he can be very by the book and sort of, like lowercase c conservative in like, what he'll do. Yeah. Like, he's not a rule... He seems like a rule breaker, and he definitely fucks, but he's not a... He doesn't really break the rules.
He fucks by the book.
He fucks... by the book. He opens the book and fucks and looks at the book while fucking.
Right. In that case, I will not suggest that we have the captain speak to this thing first.
Understood. But Maxwell is saying, you don't... she's saying, look, I understand that this is an unprecedented situation. And I'm not saying we shouldn't study this creature and we shouldn't keep it alive. But I'm just saying there are ethical implications to what you people are talking about here.
There's ethical implications.
Sentience, Captain. It's either sentient or it's not. We're simply giving it an ability to speak and advocate for itself.
Exactly.
If we could teach sentience, then every single one of our hologram programs would be self-aware. And so far, the only ones that are a few EMHs, Moriarty, who's locked away, and an entire town of Irish people, but we don't talk about them. So it's fine.
We don't actually know about the Irish people yet. That's in another quadrant of the galaxy. But that's fine.
I didn't know where we were in the timeline. Okay, we don't know about Fairhaven. Well, then we don't know about the EMHs either, actually. So the only sentient EMH, really is Moriarty.
Well, that's more shenanigans on the Enterprise, and I don't like to talk about the Enterprise.
So, point is, if it's sentient, it's sentient. We're simply giving it the tools to advocate for itself. It would be unethical for us to not allow this creature to speak if we can give it an option to speak.
Who among you sort of agree with that perspective of Reynolds and Vale? Senec, you agree there as well. Giles, do you have an opinion on this matter, or are you just more like, God, I wonder what Lewis is doing right now, which he thinks is interesting.
I am very
Lieutenant Commander Giles.
I'm very curious, because if the ship gave birth, then I have another baby.
It's a grandkid. So in that case,
fire engineers of this period.
I am going to say that Dr. Reynolds, you are leading this charge. I would like for Senec and Vale, I want both of you to please make, you're going to make assistance rolls. I feel that, but you are going to have to do the same thing that Dr. Reynolds is doing. So, Dr. Reynolds, you are going to be using your medical arguments here, I think. So you can have your medicine on there at 5. But I think this is not really reason or insight or daring. I think this really is presence. I think this is you sort of trying to have presence. So for everyone, you're going to make a presence plus medicine. That is 15 for you, Quincy Vale, but you're only rolling 1d20. And Dan, yours is an 11.
And I rolled I have achieved.
So mine's a 12.
I rolled a 15.
That is your number, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 1 success.
Oh, good.
I have achieved a 2, which is at or below both of my numbers.
Understood. So it's below all you got to do is below the sum.
Right. Okay.
So yes, so that's 2 successes. Gates, you're gonna roll 2 d20s.
But so it's presence plus my medical, so it's
presence plus medical is 12. So you need 2 d20s. Okay, you want them both at 12 or under.
And I'm gonna use momentum as well. 1 momentum. Okay. Glad I used it. An 11. And a 3. Okay, so that's success. I rolled 2 under.
1 was a success?
Both were 6. Well, 2 of 3. I used momentum.
Oh, and use momentum. So you have a total of 4 successes on this. You needed 3. I should have said that earlier. So gain 1 momentum back. Vale and Senec, you don't get any momentum, but you have contributed to this. And with the 3 of you sort of making this argument, with Giles and Dobbs really just caring about the technological implications, and with Maxwell being the sole intense dissenter to this position, the captain says, Doctor, much as it pains me to say it, this is one of those instances in which I'm outranked. Both by you as the Chief Medical Officer and by Counselor Quincy Vale as the Chief Mental Health Officer. I will, however, request that you be very careful.
Of course, we're simply teaching it to advocate for itself, not any sensitive information.
And we'll know at once whether that's for good or for not so good. At least we'll know.
Very well, because Commander Maxwell's concerns, they're not without merit.
We understand.
We're not here to explore and meet new species and expand our horizons and do good in the universe.
Maxwell says, we're not here to play God.
We're not playing God.
It
exists regardless of our actions.
Yes.
And it's our responsibility to ensure that it lives the best life that it possibly can. And what better crew to make sure that it grows into its best self?
Remind me to assign Mary Shelley to all of the crew.
Maxwell just sort of shakes her head and says, God, I really wish all these people are off the ship right now, Captain. And he says, well, if wishes and wants were horses and guns. Let's...
Horses and phasers.
With
Yeah,
that...
odd guns many years ago.
As the captain doesn't say that, but he'll sort of say, he kind of just gives you guys a look. And Maxwell sort of, she sort of understands and says, I've read Frankenstein many times, Dr. Reynolds. I'm not sure you understand who you are in that book. And with that...
I didn't create the creature.
We go to our next commercial break. Ba-da-ba-bum, ba-da-bum, ba We're back. First of
all, I reject that statement. We're not Dr. Frankenstein. We are the DeLacy family. And unlike the DeLacy family in the book, we're not rejecting the monster. That's the key moment.
Hey, here's the cool thing, Dr. Reynolds.
Thank you.
It's a TV show, so we've skipped ahead. So basically...
Well, whatever. My ranting happened during commercials.
You're
but
still
I'm
ranting
just
during
objecting to that freaking parallel. I'm not Dr. Frankenstein. I'm the DeLacy family matriarch.
We are currently in sickbay. Counselor Vale, Dr. Reynolds, Lieutenant Commander Senek are present. Giles, are you with them, or do you want to be doing your own thing?
Doing my own thing.
All right, cool. So we're going to cut to Giles. Giles, what are you doing? Where are you? What's your plan?
I want to go back to the replicator to try to just maybe understand how this could have happened, because I know it happened, so it was possible, but I want to understand really how.
Understood. So, as Giles goes to the replicator to look it over more, as you walk in, to your surprise, you see Ensign Lewis is there at the replicator, like looking at it.
Ensign Lewis.
Lieutenant Commander.
Sorry, I couldn't bring you a drink. I mean the.
No, that's okay. His ship got hit with an electromagnetic storm.
Yeah. So, what brings you down here? It wouldn't be me, would it?
Yeah, actually, I kind of wanted to talk to you. We just got cut off earlier.
Yeah, anything. What? You can tell me anything. I'm an open book. I'm a receptacle for whatever you want to say.
You're so funny, Lieutenant Commander Giles.
So.
Hand on arm. Hand on arm. She doesn't hold it there, but she gives you like, you're so funny.
So,
I don't want to feel good right now.
I don't want to feel that good right now. I didn't say that. What did you want to ask me?
We just got cut off. I don't know. What's going on with the storm? It seems crazy. We're not getting off the ship anytime soon, are we?
I mean, I'd say it's going to be a little bit of time before we do. There's some serious business going on upstairs, and I mean, I can't tell you everything, but
I mean, I understand. I don't want you to get in trouble or anything. I am really curious about what happened. I mean, I feel like a lot of like amazing things happen on this ship, and it would just be so cool to like really like help out. Is there anything I can do to help? I know I'm off duty, but like, I mean,
yeah,
I wouldn't hate spending some time with you.
Yeah. How about we want to look at the logs of the replicator and really try to determine how some anomalies arose in the logs, and
please let me help. Absolutely.
Yeah. So how about let me just show you if you come a little closer.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
And I lean in.
Yeah.
Very harmlessly, though.
I mean, nice guys are real harmless. Yeah, sure. So anyway, Lieutenant Commander Giles, go ahead. So you're gonna let her help you on this. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Not
Perfect.
let her, invite her to help.
Understood. Then she's going to roll 1 to try to help you out. Would you please do, as you're kind of doing more analysis here, and let's see if any of your weird focuses that from this pre-gen you have. You're really good at oenology, which is like study of wine, by the way. I'm going to say this isn't really so much. No, you know what? We'll say it's power systems. Also, wait a second. You've already completed one of these. So you guys have these things called talents. Again, this is like a learn to play session. We're not doing this, but I'm going to go with this right now. You can use your testing a theory because you've already succeeded at this. So that means you get an extra d20 on this roll without spending momentum. However, if you would like to spend any additional dice on momentum, you will get more momentum back afterwards thanks to your untapped potential.
I will use 1 momentum.
Okay, so roll 4d20. And she's going to roll 1 here. And this is, once again, this is 17. Man, this is great for you. This is engineering plus reason.
So I got 2 16s, an 11, and a 20.
A complication. Would you like to add 2 to the threat to not have a complication in this moment? Or are you cool with a complication?
What's the difference between complications and threats?
Threat means I have points I can use to do bad things to you later and intensify problems as they continue. Complications means something bad might happen now. In this game, there's kind of no difference, but I'm still trying to teach you how to play, so I'm giving you the option.
I'm gonna remove the complication and add threat.
All right, so we are now at 10 threat. At this point,
Traitor.
no complication. She succeeds. So you had 3 successes, but none of them were below 5, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you have 3 successes plus hers is a 4. Roll a d6. You don't want a 5 or a 6. You want a 1 or a 2.
I got a 3.
A 3. Okay, 3 and 4 means nothing. Okay, great. So you gain 1 momentum back. So you basically just regain the momentum you spent. And with her help and a bit of time, and every so infrequently, like your fingers kind of like touching hers or whatever, as you guys both reach for a data pad, like, oh, sorry, at the same time. Whatever, fine. As you guys work together. You also, I'm going to say you're so wrapped up you don't notice her like dodging a bunch of calls from Ensign Cross. You, Giles, collate an incomplete but growing focus list of computer elements that were included in this fabrication process. Here's the thing. Not everything that was included seems to necessarily have been made a part of the creature. This creature had a huge amount of information put into it. And relevant pieces seemed to spring together to hold into this. There are 3 main sections that are making up the bulk of it. One is just the general large compendium of biological information and the stuff that is stored in medical bay and transporter information about like reconstituting people back together, that kind of stuff. The second is about specific kinds of organisms with more adaptive physiology. Chameleons, things that have the ability to sort of change in response to areas. This is not so much medical information, this is more like biological field stuff. Notably, though, the third section that seemed to get more play are a collection of fairy tales and mythology from Earth. We're going to cut back to the medical bay as Counselor Vale, Dr. Reynolds, and Lieutenant Commander Seneca are approaching this creature who's now stable and is in fact kind of just looking at them. No longer wearing a breathing mask, just kind of these big black eyes, this kind of like strange little mouth, these big ears, this green skin, sort of long fingers.
Hello. I'll look at Dr. Gates. Should we teach it?
I mean, I suppose we should speak some basic linguistics.
Actually, can we place electrodes on it to read whether or not the language processing area of its brain is activating?
That may require consent for the being, and I assume that we have medical devices that can do so without physically touching.
Who let the Vulcan into sick bay, honestly?
You
I do
green-blooded.
appreciate the sentiment, Lieutenant Commander. That was a question for Starfleet Command.
I will say that we'll go with it like this. The best readings would be from something physically on the brain, but
Sure.
you could certainly do readings at a range, for sure.
Okay.
Less
Yeah.
intrusive.
I'll pull out
So-
my tricorder, and if the tricorders can get it well enough, we're fine.
Tricorders will give you good readings, for
If
sure.
medical tricorders, we're good.
So I would like to approach the containment field
Mhm.
and say, hello, my name is Counselor Quincy Vale. What's your name?
Give me a presence meets medicine. You were doing your area of expertise. Let's also see if any of
15.
your
Perhaps simpler,
Shenanigans.
even. Don't use complicated words, just Counselor Vale.
Oh, yes, I would like to simplify that. And also, I would like to use momentum.
You can point
Okay.
to me, Counselor Vale, Dr. Reynolds.
We'll start with one. So I uncheck one momentum, and I need 2 successes under 15.
No, you will need 3 successes to try to communicate with this creature in this.
Can I
action.
support this?
If you want to spend 2 more momentum, you can roll 4 dice total. Dr. Gates, why don't you also make a medicine plus presence? Seneca, if you're going to help as well, just kind of like trying to like be present and kind of, you know, like be as conducive to communication. You guys roll 1d20 for this.
Oh, just one.
You only roll 1.
One under.
I inform you that I hit my number exactly. It was an 11, and I rolled an 11.
Perfect. 1 success.
I got a 15. Sorry, 14.
9. Success.
So 2 more successes. How many? But you roll all 3 dice or 4 dice?
Oh, no, sorry. I thought you said, I got a 10 and an 18.
So the 18 is no good, but so you rolled. How many did you roll total? 3 dice or 4 dice?
3. Yes.
3. Okay,
3.
at least about 1 momentum. Okay, so you got 2 successes. They
Yes.
gave you 2 more for a total of 4. You gained 1 momentum back. In addition, you have something called persistent. I'm going to say that applies in this situation. Oh,
Okay.
you're trying to communicate with it. Okay, that wouldn't work. So you don't get analyzed, but you do get persistent. So you actually basically can communicate more in this one roll than like typically would. You basically get to ask additional questions. So I'm going to say that in this case, you can communicate with it a little bit more. So that you kind of start talking to this creature, and it sort of looks at you.
Quincy Vale,
Yes. You?
Dr. Reynolds,
Yes.
Senek,
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Neck.
Goblin,
Gob? Goblin. Can I, like, register that?
You have a focus in human culture. Please
Yes.
do a command and reason. 12. So roll 2d20. You need under 12.
Then
Okay.
it's the life-sucking Vulcan.
I have, 2 and a 14.
So the good news for you is that 2, because it's just at your science, that will count as 2 successes. You only need 1 to recall this, so give yourself 1 more momentum.
Oh.
And it looks at Senec, and you know of goblins from Earth fairy tales. And it looks at Senec and looks at his ears and goes,
Elf?
Different.
No, I am a Vulcan.
This is
He's a
friend.
logic machine.
Friends. Are you friend? We're friends.
it
Friend
touches the force field that is keeping it in.
Friend?
Precaution. Safety.
We're
Dr.
being
Vale.
careful.
Dr. Vale, I want you to simply make
Wait,
This
Dr.
is-
Vale?
Dr.
Or
Vale, Jesus
Counselor
Christ.
Vale?
Counselor Vale. So sorry. You're also a
Okay.
doctor, but it's counselor.
They'll have her PhD.
Dr. Reynolds.
Counselor Vale. I need you to roll me an insight, and in this case, it's going to be command. 15. 2d20.
Okay. Okay.
Am I supporting her?
4.
A 6 and a 4. Those
Yes.
that's 3 successes. You actually gain 3 momentum in response to that because you have something called Analyze, which is after succeeding at a task to determine the emotional state or intent of another living creature, you gain 1 bonus momentum. It can only be used on an obtain information momentum spend, which basically means you need to use that last one on the next time you are doing this. But I
Okay.
assume you'll continue this. But basically,
4.
you suddenly get the reading, and it's kind of informing from what you're doing and what you've heard.
Mhm.
This goblin, though there are things set, like now it has lungs, and now it has a heart that beats, and now apparently it can talk and exhibit some reason. It knows it's a goblin, it knows some things about elves. But it is basically, it is currently experiencing at an extremely high rate of intelligence a level of development that you would see in like a 2 to 5-year-old child in this conversation. All of that will happen right now. So in other words, the way you treat this creature is going to firmly imprint upon it.
Right.
Okay.
And it seems to be
so-
somewhat perceptive. It knows that it is held within a thing, which means it doesn't think it's your friend.
Okay. So I will, can I release the containment field or does someone else have to?
You probably would know how to do it, but really, Dr. Reynolds would be the one to do it. She's the
Okay.
one. You actually,
Dr.
no, you know what though? You did throw it up to start with, so
I did.
You could key it off technically if you wanted to.
Okay. I will key it off and say, I was making sure we were both safe.
Safe. Friends.
Yes, we're friends. And I'll reach out my hand. Friends.
Friends. It takes your hand. It
What's
feels
your
it.
name?
Oh.
Quincy Vale. You?
Oh. A goblin.
Would you like to be called a goblin or do you want a name?
A name, yes.
Okay.
If a
What
friend,
sounds do you like?
friends
Yes.
have names.
Friends do have names. Do you like a sound? Is there a sound that you like?
Mm-hmm.
What sound do you like?
I like the sound that goes grim.
How about we call you Grim?
Grim.
Grim.
Yes. My
That's a lovely name.
He kind of looks up at you. Actually, I suppose so far he's acting sort of male, but that could still. But he sort of looks up
Yeah,
at you.
have
and
I?
basically
Can I
goes,
detect gender?
I'll actually roll for it. Male. He kind of looks up at you.
Have I
and says,
detected gender is male?
Sex is male, yes. Gender
Sex
seems to
is
be.
male, yes, correct.
Sex seems to be. Gender seems to be correlating to that.
Gender goes in sex is genetic.
It's reading very old-fashioned books, so it was a high likelihood they were going to be correlating. As it sort of looks up at you, though, counselor, it sort of says, "My friends call me Grim."
Yes. And I'll turn around and say, friends, this is our friend Grim.
Yes. Hello, Grim.
I will do like a respectful, mild bow, and Grim, it is an honor to meet you.
We're so happy that you're here.
It is an honor from a Vulcan elf, Senek.
I'm Dr. Reynolds.
Oh, Senek is your name. Your friends call you Senek. Your friends call you Dr. Reynolds. Your friends call you Counselor Quincy Vale. My
Yes.
friends call me Grim.
Yes.
He walks around and starts shaking everyone's hand.
Yes. Grim, I'm a doctor. That means that I help people.
Yes.
Fix them. May I have your permission to help you if you need help?
Yes, friend.
Yes, friend.
May I have your permission to help you if you need help?
And I'll
I
nod.
mean, it depends on the kind of help. Do you think we need help?
I think you need gold.
What?
For what, Grim, for what might we need gold?
All need gold. Friends.
What
Friends
is
help
the-
friends get gold.
What is the purpose of
Goals. Sometimes a goal can be gold.
Let's.
Do you know why you came here, Grim?
Dale, let's let him answer.
Why I am here to help my friends.
Oh,
Eh?
that's wonderful.
This is why you say you are here.
What is the
Yes.
purpose of gold, Grim?
I don't know. It's shiny. It is to be hoarded, yes?
Well, we left those things back in the 21st century, but
what else have we left in the 21st century? Have we left our enemies in the 21st century?
Oh,
well,
who are your enemies?
Who? My
You seem
friend?
very concerned that there are enemies from the 21st century.
speaking of Romulans,
Romulans are our enemies? My enemies are your enemies. You are my friends.
Oh, well, thank you. But right now, talking about enemies, it doesn't really help to get to know each other. So, and I'll sit like cross-legged in front of Grim and just say,
I.
so
Reynolds is just rolling her eyes.
you're very concerned about enemies. Do you feel that you have any enemies here right now?
No. That is
There's
good.
only friends, right?
Only friends is good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel safe here? I feel safe here.
Yeah, and safe. I feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Does Vulcan Elf Senek feel safe?
I'll look at him.
Yes.
Vulcan elves
Oh,
are
these
friends.
Vulcan elves.
I sense no threats currently.
Vulcan elves are friends.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Other elves are enemies, but we left them
No.
in the 21st century.
Oh, well, I do. Do I know what he's like elves? Can I conceptualize
With
what-
your role on your history stuff, yeah, you get it.
Okay, well, Vulcan elves are different than regular elves.
Yes, Vulcan elves are friends.
Yes. And you know what? Sometimes regular elves can be friends too.
Oh.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to talk to people to get to know them and to be their friends. Just like we're talking and we're friends now.
We are friends.
We are friends.
Not being friends, we left in the 21st century.
You're talking about the 21st century a lot. Why don't you tell me more about it?
You said we left gold in the 21st century. We left
What
everything.
kind of gold?
Where did gold come from for you?
That's a good question.
All right. Quincy Vale, I want you to roll, just because you have the spare one to do it. Roll 3d20. This one is going to be, this is actually going to be presence, not insight.
Okay.
And command. So that's going to be a 14. So roll 3d20 and 14. Dr. Reynolds, if you could also do a presence and command in assisting, because you're also asking this question, just roll 1d20. So 1d20.
I got 8, 14, and 19. So in this system, when you roll the number, that's a success.
Counts. Yes.
Perfect.
So you got 2 successes?
Yes.
Dr. Reynolds, you were trying to roll under a 9, because presence and command are not 2 of your strengths. But go ahead and roll 1d20, see if you're under a 9. And Senek is just there like, what the hell is this creature?
I'm simply wondering, I mean, I would ask this creature, what is your emotional attachment to gold?
I have none. I left my emotional attachments in the 21st century.
It's very wise of you.
No. I left many things in the 21st century. Fish bones, knives, bows and arrows, capturing maidens, my market of come and eat our fruits. We left in the 21st century.
What?
Now we have friends.
Yes.
Even Vulcan elves. So Dr. Gates, what did you roll on that?
Written by Christina Rossetti. Does that name mean something to you?
Hans Christian Andersen.
I do know this.
No, Christina Rossetti.
I do know this name.
Ooh.
She has spoken of our markets. But we've left our markets in the 21st century, and we will leave other things in the 21st century.
Like gender norms.
This is
Yes, we've left our gender norms in the 21st century.
This is a creature from the replicator in the holodeck.
You don't know the full thing, but basically your understanding is that somehow something was synthesized with this massive overload of processing power that has created a creature synthesized from various sources, and apparently one of them, clearly it's calling itself a goblin, and it's talking about gold, and it's talking now about like a specific poem, and it seems to be like
Goblin
referencing that it
market.
knows that name. You know there's a lot of factors in it, but that is certainly a thing. But off this moment, as it looks at Senek and says, I have left my hatred for your kind in the 21st century.
I would, as my people have no knowledge of your people, I would imagine that your hatred was for a people who might have appeared similar to mine.
Yeah, can I take like Lieutenant Commander Senek aside
Sure,
and explain the goblin market to him?
sure.
Yeah, so it's a poem about goblins abducting fair maidens. They wouldn't exactly view elves as friends, and because of your ears.
Ah, I see.
Oh,
Inspiration drawn from an old poem.
Yeah, goblins and elves were not friends in that time period of Earth.
as you sort of look back at kind of this creature as it sort of seems to be getting the picture. That's where we're going to take our commercial break. I'm going to a break. We'll be right back.
Overcome with some sort of sleeping sickness.
Boom, 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 ba-doom. So as we start Act 4, we did actually lose Senek. He doesn't appear in the rest of the episode, but that's okay. We now cut to. Oh, we open with another Captain's. How many times do they do Captain's Log supplemental? Do they only ever do it once in an episode? Do they do it more than once sometimes?
Sometimes a couple times.
Captain Log supplemental.
It depends.
Repairs to the ship have been completed. And this creature, Grim, calling himself a goblin, a new species, purportedly invented here aboard the vessel, is adjusting to life amongst the more traditional biologicals. We're going to cut to we're going to cut to another conference room scene. Senek is at the con, but we have the three of you, Dobbs. We have we'll have the captain and the first officer, Captain Winter, and Commander Maxwell, who's just like, she looks like this is a really bad idea. Lieutenant Commander Giles, you are present, and with you is Ensign Lewis. And she kind of whispers to you, like, thanks so much for getting me into this meeting.
You were a huge part of this discovery, so...
That's so great. You don't have to say that to the captain or anything.
I mean, yeah, am I?
Like, please don't say anything to the captain, like, right now in the meeting. That would really embarrass me.
So, Captain,
Yes.
you know, I really wanted to thank Ensign Lewis for her work in helping me determine the components that have made up Grim, our goblin. You know, as you know, it's made up of a compilation of a bunch of material from our computers, and it has biological medical information. It's got adaptive information based on other species like chameleons, and
Don't forget the fairy tales.
Grim says, looking up from a data pad.
and fairy tales. Really, that really contributes to his personality and the goblin that he's truly becoming.
He says, yes, thank you, Ensign Lewis, for whatever contributions you've made. She says, I'm so happy to be serving here. Captain, just please, if there's ever anything you need. Of course. So, Grim, it's fun having... Great job. Grim, it's been fun having these conversations with you.
Yes, Captain, I enjoy our conversations as well. I do have several questions about the nature of Starfleet directives.
My
Is now an
goodness.
appropriate time to ask those?
Sure.
I am so proud of you and the progress that you've made. Your curiosity is genuinely inspirational.
Okay.
Counselor, I think you're doing that thing where you're providing me with more positive feedback than is required.
Well,
I appreciate that I'm a weird creature.
It's not that you're weird.
Condescend, dear.
I am a unique entity, and that is my entire problem.
I am
puts down the
genuinely
pad.
proud of you.
So, when will you make more of me?
Make more of you?
Yes, I am alone in this universe.
You have all of us.
Yes, but I have no goblins.
Did we make you?
Clearly,
Well,
your machinery was capable of creating me, even if it was unintentional. You have the technology.
so, and I'll go and sit by Grim, and I'll say, when you were born, something very unique happened.
I was not born. You're speaking to me like I'm a child. I guess I should also mention Quincy Vale. It's probably hard for you to deal with. Actually, go ahead and do a, roll a, I want you to roll another command meets control. 14. Just 2d20, 14 or under on these.
Okay. 8 and 11.
Okay. So give yourself one more momentum if you even have spots for it. I think you're out. So you're maxed out on momentum. You can't get any more.
Okay.
But this creature, basically, you do understand. It's hard to forget because he's kind of small and he's only been here for a week. His intellect continued sopping up for a few more days, and with
Yes.
all of you very high intellectual people, this is now he's not like a super intellect, but he's very intelligent and very perceptive.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you joined our ship, There was an anomaly in space. We don't quite understand what happened. You obviously know that you were an amalgamation of a lot of different things, and we don't know if we can recreate that.
But you have the list.
Yes.
Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles, my friend, and my friend Ensign Lewis. As Simon Giles pointed out, she contributed too, as he pointed out several times.
And Max was like, just rubbing her eyes. Like, yes, we're all very appreciative of Ensign Lewis's contributions. He kind of gives Maxwell a look, and she's just like, just never mind. He says,
The point is, thanks largely to Ensign Lewis, we're aware of what constituted me. So you can create more goblins.
Well, there's also a space anomaly that we can't recreate.
Are we aware of what actually? We know the components that created him, but do we know everything?
Yeah, are we actually aware?
You don't know everything, but you've narrowed the list down a fair bit.
And also, Grim, we're not gods. We can't just summon another sentient being. That's not what we do, and you know that. You've studied... Wait, I can assume that he has... I mean, he's asking about Starfleet protocols, so I'm assuming he's studied them.
He says, that is my entire problem.
Yes, we would have unknowingly created you. We can't knowingly create you.
Exactly.
Then you are dooming me to an existence in agony. A biological species, entirely alone, incapable of conversing with any others of my kind.
Are the holodecks back up?
They are.
Does he know about them?
Yeah. He's vaguely aware.
Grim, we can't create another being. When you were created, that was out of our control. As you know, you've read the logs. But we can create an environment for you where you can have a community of people exactly like you. If that's what you want.
I can start working on a program. Grim, maybe we can talk about the desired parameters of a companion, perhaps?
You want to create a holographic companion, like that one weird doctor who bothers me so much.
We can tweak the personality algorithm,
But this is not the same. I will still be alone.
Oh, well, you won't feel alone.
I already feel alone, Dr. Reynolds.
Well, why don't we give it a try?
Very well. You can program me a goblin market. If you wish to give me such a thing.
Oh, boy.
I'll look at Dr. Reynolds and say, a goblin market?
I will explain to you. It's an earth poem.
Okay.
we'll make sure to include plenty of gold unless we left that in the 21st century too.
We did.
Yes, well, it seems that you left gold shortly after the 21st century when you created the replicators that allow you to produce it on command.
He then pulls a bunch of gold out of his pocket and goes, I have plenty of gold. He pours gold coins scatter across the table. Gold, synthesized from the same nothing, the same magic that has created me.
Scan it and see that it's real gold.
Oh, no, he used a replicator to make himself gold. The replicators are back up.
Okay, so he went over to the replicator and made gold.
He already did this.
Okay.
I can create anything with your replicators.
What,
But to create more of me,
Why don't we give the program a shot and see how it is?
fine.
We can't just create more beings. It's one thing to give them the tools they need to exist. It's another to actually create them.
They're not wrong. Grim, my friend.
Question.
It is your creation, like the origin of most life, was an accident. It came out of nothing. For us to duplicate that experiment, it doesn't seem likely, and it may be morally questionable.
It would be against the Prime Directive to create a being.
but you've already created me. You've already influenced me into this.
Well,
Yes, and we can create
accident.
an environment for you that you can thrive in. And if you'd like, you can stay there. You can design it, design the environment, design new friends, design what happens, and we can keep you there.
Grim hops up onto the table.
So, through a freak accident, you have summoned me from a fantasy, and now you wish to lock me away in a fantasy?
No, that's
He jumps off the table and walks out of the room.
Oh,
The
shit.
I will
captain
follow.
says-
Out of game.
The captain says, let him go.
Fuck you for giving us a Tuvix situation.
Captain's like, let him go.
What? He's loose in the ship, Captain.
He's already demonstrated that he's not here to hurt anyone. He considers us
No,
friends.
but we don't know. He's irritated. He's angry. We won't give him a mate. Look, we're back in the Frankenstein territory. Although now we're in the books. We're back.
Maxwell says, I'm not the kind of person who says I told you so.
Maxwell, we did not create sentience. The creature had it. We simply gave it an ability to express itself.
Are you really
No.
sure about that?
Yes.
And
Are
now
you challenging my authority as the medical chief officer of the ship?
She kind of looks at you and says, I wouldn't mind a second opinion.
We'll go find one then.
I've got a second opinion.
Maxwell shakes her head and she walks out.
Good.
Go ahead, counselor. Sorry, you can get your
Rubbish.
shot in.
No, I'll let her walk out. It's fine.
All right.
I'm gonna go work on that.
Want to yell something down the hallway at her before she hits the turbo lift?
I will yell out. You know, I've always known you were cold and unfeeling. To all creatures, whether they were created. How long ago was Grim created?
Like a week.
Whether they were created a week ago or born 20 years ago.
She looks at you and goes, you're not 20. And then the turbo lift doors close.
Talking about me.
So
20.
So basically, our dear friends here, you guys are going to. So the idea here is you are going to try to, you guys are going to try to create an environment for this creature. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, what do you want in there? How do you want to do it?
I will consult Giles.
Well, I suppose we ought to model it after the goblin market from the poem.
Giles?
Is it Giles or Giles?
It's Giles, but
Oh,
she's
it's
always
Giles.
said my name
Oh,
wrong.
goodness.
Oh my god. I was like, I'm thinking
I
of
always
Jay
thought she was
Giles
talking to
band.
somebody else.
And I'm like, the goblin is a centerfold.
We thought you were like Rupert Giles.
It's Giles, but
It
I
is
thought
Giles.
talking
Is it
about the guy-
Giles or Giles? You just said
Giles.
Giles.
It's Giles, but I thought she was talking about the guy from Street Fighter this whole time.
Wait,
Oh, Guile? Really cool
Yeah.
hair? Sure.
so it's
Oh,
Giles.
wait, no, I would have said it right. I'm sorry. Giles.
Oh, you've been referring to me all these years.
So sorry.
Oh my gosh. Counselor, what? Sorry I haven't responded. I know it's been awkward.
It really has been, and it was my responsibility to confront that, and I just never did. However, I would love your expertise in creating an environment for Grim. I think you're the perfect man for it.
Well, I have isolated all of the fairy tales that have contributed to his main personality, so I can, again, include all of that to make it as consistent with the being that he is.
Perfect. And Dr. Reynolds, the Goblin Market poem.
Yes, it is an obscure thing that I happen to be familiar with. I'm happy to provide insight. It's an old Earth poem. It's actually fairly erotic, but the creature doesn't seem to be acting on those impulses. So.
You definitely know that is one of many influences, so it's like, you know.
Fairly
That being
erotic.
said, he's made it very clear he wants some female goblins.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He's not just like, give me a bunch of female goblins. He'd like a lot of goblins just around, some of whom are female. He wants whatever.
Goblin friends.
He's probably described it to you, Vale, as he wants the opposite of what Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles has with Ensign Lewis. He doesn't want a female goblin who, like, manipulates him all the time and never hooks up with him and is clearly dating someone else, which is seemingly Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles is the only one who doesn't know that. But he would like to talk to some female ones, the way the captain talks to female humans, or Orions, or Bajorans.
It's a little Frankenstein meets Goblin Market meets
Red Shoe Diaries.
Sure.
I'm on it.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So you've got the vibe of the environment we're
It's
creating.
what young adolescent girls often watch late at night.
Skinemax, you know, whatever.
I have a template for the program, and I can just overlay all of these other parameters on top of it. So it shouldn't take me too long.
Yes, and do we know Grimm's orientation?
Well, he seems to be fairly straight.
I rolled a 1, which the lower the number, the straighter you are. And ones are male and 2s are female, and then higher numbers get more interesting.
Can we make the female goblins very receptive to his advances?
We'll have plenty of variation, so he has a lot of challenge and stimulation in there.
Perfect.
Like real life.
Sure.
Yes.
Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles, do you want to ask Ensign Lewis to help with this?
I would be honored.
Understood. So you go to her to ask her. Go ahead, and she's working in engineering or wherever as you approach her.
Ensign Lewis, I was wondering if I might request your assistance once more.
What's up, Lieutenant Commander?
It's it's orders direct from the captain.
It's great.
You know, we need to create an environment for Grimm where he can live out his life and be happy, like we all would like to be.
Sure. No, well, I you might have to get somebody else for that. I've received a promotion. I'm being promoted to lieutenant.
Oh.
And I'm being transferred to the Jupiter.
That is so great.
Yes, and not only. Thank you so much for all your help. It was your recommendation that's the way I was even able to talk to the captain about this. Thank you so much. She kind of gives you like a hug. She's like, I really appreciate this.
I couldn't be happier for you.
She's like, all right, well, good luck with the program. And then she's like, God, now I have to. And then kind of once you've left, she's like, God, now I have to have a really uncomfortable conversation with Ensign Cross. And she heads out for that. You know what? I like Ensign Lewis. She knows what she's doing.
Oh yeah,
she's fine.
Poor Lieutenant Commander Giles.
Is he? I don't know.
The guy's in engineering. We have
guys. Engineers are real wet blankets.
Engineers in this era really strike out. It's unfortunate.
All right. So as you put together this program, I'm going to say that Vale and Reynolds are going to contribute, but you're going to be handling this, Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles. I feel that you probably spend much more time in holodeck fantasies than either of these career medical officers. Offended look gives way to, yeah, okay. That being said,
it tracks for engineers.
I think this is going to be, you know what? Daring, control, and insight are all the same number for you. So I think it's going to be a 9, but then we are going to give you engineering, which is +5, because this really is you, this is you taking those kind of attributes, but then using your engineering discipline to program just the most convincing, excellent holodeck simulation. So please give me a roll of 14 if you want to spend any momentum. You can spend 1 to get 1 extra dice. You can spend 3 to get 2 extra dice. You can also choose... You can use a determination, and that automatically gives you 1 die set at a 1. So you get
I
two
will-
successes just from that.
I will use a determination.
Use a determination. All right, so you have 2 successes. This is also a situation in which the more successes you have, there's no set difficulty. It's the more success you get, the better this will be. Are you going to use any momentum as well? You have a lot of momentum.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to use, so for 3 momentum, I get 2 additional die. Is that accurate?
So, and let me see if any of your... You know what? You have the advantage of the engineering department, so I'm going to roll 1 extra assistance from them. If Reynolds and Vale can also please roll you can choose control, daring, or insight. I think for both of you that's going to be insight. So do an insight plus an engineering. So
12.
Gates Reynolds, you're trying to hit a 13. You're trying to hit a 12. Vale.
Just
And
one?
You owe only 1 for this. Yes.
Oh,
Trying to hit a 13.
1.
I rolled a
Great.
2.
Perfect. So and in these situations when you're helping, I don't think there's the bonuses, but so that's 2 more successes plus the 2. He already has 4 successes. Roll your 4d20.
I did. I have a 1.
Okay.
I
5,
have
6.
a 7. Another success.
Okay.
I have a 3. And I have a 20.
Oh, no.
Oh, I love it. Okay. So, hold on. So you had a 1 and a 3. The 1 and the 3, those both count double because those are under, oh no, only the 1 counts double because you're not using any of your specific skills for this. Okay, so that's 6, 7, 8 successes. Which means your momentum is basically... Oh no, you actually will get no momentum back on this because you're using it all on the thing. Okay, so no momentum, but 8 successes. So you are making the most perfect... You are pulling in so many things. You're creating this goblin paradise for him. The complication, do you want to buy it off? The threat is already very high at this point. Do you want to add 2 to the threat? Or do you want to allow a complication?
I'll allow a complication.
Understood. So, you guys, you guys enter. Suddenly, we cut to a. Is this a good time for a commercial break, or do we show this and then do a commercial break?
Commercial break.
All right. So as you program it, you're like, aha, and you kind of like then drink a thing and look at a picture of Ensign Lewis. Then we'll just we'll be right back. I used to play a game called Star Trek Attack Wing. That's why I've got a lot of these things.
I like how you're like, I'm not a huge Star Trek.
Want Romulan to show up? Well, these kind of Klingon ships? Oh no, give me your females. You know, because
Frankie, yes.
Anyway. So, we cut to, as Star Trek episodes often do, we cut to an incredibly convincing goblin market. And there are goblins who are of the same design as Grimm. Like, walking the thing. Some of them are, like, doing, like, come and buy our fruits. But there's actually much more diversity to what's going on. And many of them are just like, gold, want gold? Ooh, elf-killing bowls. These are fabulous. Aye, goblins, come over here. We'll help you. Good, we got tanned. Yeah, I'll go for it. We got tanned owlbear hides, we do. Come on, this way. Dragon scales, eh? Anybody in the market for some dragon scales? And as the 3 of you sort of walk through, Grimmick is walking through it as well. This is incredible.
You like it?
Yes. I do.
Made it for you.
I understand. You're my friend.
I
You
am.
do a lot of kind things for me.
Thanks for teaching me to eat that time. Can I eat the fruits that they give here?
You can interact with anything. You can eat anything.
And in fact, the food within a holodeck is created by replicators, so you can just, he goes over and whenever I eat something made by a replicator, it's like I'm eating myself, in a sense. He eats various fruits. He starts talking to goblins. You guys watch. The captain kind of wanders up behind you. He has got like a dragon cloak cape on, and says, "What do you all think?"
He seems happy.
It's a very good program, Lieutenant Commander. You're very good at programming these.
Thank you, Captain.
I just
Do we
wonder how
have-
sustainable such a thing is.
Right. I was wondering, do we have to keep the programming running, or are we able to store everything in a buffer?
No, I mean not every member of a ship, if Grimm is considered a member of the ship, is allowed unfettered access to a
Ship
holodeck.
captain, simply the key participant, and
Do we know about Moriarty?
What do you guys know about Moriarty? Is that like public knowledge?
Moriarty,
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna I'll just roll on that. You know about Moriarty. I'll
Okay.
even say maybe you guys did more research into it here.
So we will lay out that idea and the plan that we have to do that to keep him happy.
But I'm not sure that, we can't do it aboard this ship.
What do you mean?
Well, we don't have the energy. These holodecks need to be used by many members of the crew for all manners of reasons. Not to mention that Lieutenant Commander Simon Giles, I know you have many duties in engineering, but I'm gonna be asking you about various simulations we'll need to run for matters on the ship. We don't have, how many holodecks does an Intrepid class ship have?
he simply
Do you know
needs
that?
a memory module. We just need to contain them within a memory module.
That's fine. I'm perfectly happy to allow Grimm to visit this place for as long as he's on the ship, but we can't keep it up. We can't keep it running.
We just need a spare memory module, Captain.
Part of me does wonder if he has a point. Some goblins kind of come over and are like, fried squirrel, me lords and ladies.
Thank you. Yes.
How's about elf eyeballs?
What?
Elf eyeballs.
Try it.
Elf what bowls?
Elf eyeballs.
Oh, elf eyeballs.
Eh,
They belong to our lieutenant commander.
I don't know. Is he an elf? Was he an elf with red hair and a long braid down one side who said things
No.
like the forest speaks through me? If so, yeah, that's his.
Is that Gimli?
No, that's an elf. He's just saying various. Anyway, point being,
There. No, it's not. But that's fine. I would happily eat the elf eyeballs. Thank you. Yes.
okay, you're handed a bunch of elf eyeballs.
Sure.
They taste
The captain.
authentic.
We simply need a spare memory module, Captain. We can create a program within a program, similar to what Jean-Luc Picard did with Moriarty on their ship, and then contain the whole situation.
It's just I'm a little worried. Despite how good it is, I feel that he kind of looks over, and you do notice that Grimm is walking through it, observing it all. But he's
But
not,
not
like, taken by it. He's, like, trying things, he's engaged, but he's detached. He then kind of heads back around to you all. The complication is that you've effectively created a simulation that's so good,
it's demonstrating that he kind of, so basically he kind of, as he's going through this stuff, and he says, "This is amazing. End simulation." And suddenly, the goblin market fades, and you're just in the room. And he walks forward and says, "Do you not understand how much I need other goblins? Not fake goblins held within a wall on a planet. A colony. Even just one or two others to begin."
I understand loneliness. And I think I know what you're saying. You don't want to be alone in the world.
I know that I am not alone. I know I have friends. But you are surrounded by your own kind. Starfleet officers, humans, even a Trill such as yourself, Counselor, can return to your home world to be with others of your kind, not to mention the many others you carry with you, who've lived your lives before. I know that you did not create me intentionally, but I'm still your responsibility. Isn't it within your power to help me?
He's not wrong.
I go into deep thought, and I remember Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow the dinosaurs, you know, I know that he had he had adaptive physiology. So I was thinking, is there a way for him to procreate asexually, given all of the components that he's had?
The doctor will actually need to make a roll on that point.
Can I make a human knowledge roll too?
To determine that?
Not on this point. Doctor, I will need you to make, this will be a difficulty 2.
Okay.
I'm going to need you to roll. This will be medicine and control. 14. So you'll roll 2d20. If you'd like to spend determination or momentum or anything, you may certainly do so now. You need 2 successes.
How does determination look?
Determination is you use it. You really never get that back unless there's like a super dramatic thing. But you use it and then you get 2 success. It's basically like you get a bonus die that you automatically set to 1.
Okay. And I need how many successes for this?
You need 2 successes for this.
2 under 14.
2 under 14. And you
I
can
will
spend
use-
you can spend 1 momentum to give yourself.
I will use 1 momentum.
Okay, so roll 3d20. This is none of your focuses though.
Okay. So that was a 5.
Okay.
And that was a 14.
That is just at your thing, so you have 2 successes.
And that's another 14.
Great. Okay, so give yourself 1 momentum back. So we're gonna cut to sickbay, where you're kind of analyzing him, and Counselor, you're there with him. Grim, Dr. Gates Reynolds. I call you Dr. Gates every time. You're Dr. Gates Reynolds. Your analysis confirms that Grim's body at this point is effectively set. Whatever lingering filling in really only happened for the first 2 days. I will, however, say, because you got that extra success, kind of even looking at his sort of DNA and looking at sort of how it was early versus how it is now,
Sure.
your analysis reveals that if you wanted him to be asexual, you had a chance. You could have
I
taught
could
him.
influence him to be asexual?
You could have. And Dr. Gates, this is where you have a realization as you analyze his brain. He always had a baseline of intelligence. He was probably always going to be capable of some degree of speech. But the amount of communication you did with him early on in his developmental years did, in fact, grow him to a level of sort of full sapience.
Oh, great. Okay.
So in other words, it is not that you're the only reason. He was being created from goblins. He was always going to have some rudimentary stuff. But you did. It was, I mean, you sort of knew it at the time as you went in and looked at it.
We did influence his development.
You created a neural brain that was capable of this. You allowed him to become a creature.
All right, we did this. Cool.
Who could not be fooled by a holodeck. You almost have this horrible realization that if we had just said hello and told you not hurt things, and we had not like fostered a good relationship and like had him read and learn all these things, he would be content going in the holodeck for an hour a day and wouldn't know the difference.
Okay, so we did this.
Am I seeing any of this? Am I?
You don't know this from her analysis, but I'll say that Gates, are you going to share this with everyone?
Yeah. No.
Okay,
yeah.
so basically he goes off to kind of consider. We will say Senek is on. Senek is just at the helm, being a cool pilot.
Seneca's handling bridge shit.
Senec's actually like. Oh yeah. Also, Senek is in the middle of.
Fighting random Romulans?
We saved the colony. Okay, that was Senek.
Good job. So then, what we can do is offer him a position on the ship and wait and see if he would like to depart on a planet that he finds suitable for himself.
The captain, upon hearing this, basically says, "Can I tell you one of my least favorite things in the world?
What?
It's when Commander Maxwell winds up being right."
Do we have to tell her?
No,
I don't.
but the damage is already done. We have an individual that we are somewhat responsible for. Of course, it was not our intention. It's not a moral failing, but I feel that we owe him something. But in terms of regulations, it's not like we can recreate this experiment.
Of course not.
No.
And as far as discussions of asexual reproduction or cloning or things, also I'm so like, is cloning still not super kosher at this time in Star Trek, right?
Not super kosher.
No.
Yeah. Okay,
There's
cool.
genetic modification.
He's like for him to, you know, for someone to use his DNA to create more like him, that would be well outside of the
It
Federation.
would be unethical of us to create.
It would be creating a new species.
Precisely. And granted, he believes he wants that, and I wouldn't stop him if he tried to leave to go off and do that in non-Federation space. At which point, Maxwell says, "I would." She sort of steps in, and she's carrying a data pad, and she says, "I have orders from Starfleet Command, Medical Division." She hands it to Dr. Reynolds. "Like I said, I was getting a second opinion. You are under explicit instructions that you are not to," and basically you have now been given orders direct that you are not to sort of like clone or attempt to create another creature like this.
Well, I never attempted to do that, Maxwell. I simply attempted to communicate with it.
Exactly, and we never would. We are all familiar with Starfleet protocol.
But I think you need to investigate Lieutenant Maxwell's communications with Starfleet, because she seems to be misrepresenting things on the ship.
Dr. Reynolds, I don't appreciate the sort of antagonistic way she's done
Well,
this,
my
but
apologies, Captain, but
Fine, I will simply write it up in my formal report, Maxwell.
Has anyone just asked him? Given
Asked him what?
given what we're unable to do, what other options would he be open to?
He seems quite adamant that we are responsible, and I think we will have to explain something that we cannot.
the chaos of the universe.
you do see Dr.
Cannot
Reynolds.
knowingly alter a species in development.
We've been given orders to take him back to Earth, to Starfleet Command. Starfleet Medical wants to keep him there to try to figure out what
So
happened.
Let's tell him that's what they want to do and see what he wants to do. We can't just take him in for analysis without his consent.
He's not property.
Exactly.
Of course he's not property. He's a living creature that you people influenced into agony.
We did not do anything except operate under the best of intentions, under the limited information we had.
We gave him
Make sure
the
that
means
the
of
organism in
communication.
our care had the ability to consent to procedures. Anything else is simply circumstantial.
What's that old adage about the road to hell? She walks out of the room. We will now cut to you guys going to Grimmick's quarters.
I will not be judged by someone who did not take the Hippocratic Oath.
The captain says, I'm going to step away from this one. It's a medical matter. You have your orders, but I understand that I'm sure elements of this can at least be pushed back against. So, we will now cut to the three of you. Bing Bong, enter, and he's in his quarters, which you guys have given him quarters. He's trying to decorate them in goblin-y ways. So there's pictures of various goblins from, material when they've been written. Some goblin statues. He's currently removing another goblin painting from the replicator, and
So I'll say, hi, Grim.
hello.
I love what you've done.
Is this even?
Yes.
Let me help.
Thanks.
I'll help him adjust it.
Cool. This would be a picture of this is a picture of David Bowie holding a glass orb. You get it. He kind of just steps away and goes,
Oh, from Labyrinth.
Thin White Duke, baby. So, you're here to tell me some more bad news? Are you guys gonna put me into the replicator recycler?
No.
No, we wouldn't do that.
Starfleet would like for you to be taken to Earth so they can examine you. We don't think... We want to know what you would like to think, or what you think about that.
I mean, Earth is where the myths that created me came from, right?
But is that where you wish to go? You would not have free range over your days.
They're gonna lock me up? He pulls up his data pad. That doesn't sound like the Federation.
Where are we in the timeline?
yeah, we're like right after First Con. I don't know, before First Con. Yeah, in there. Voyager, in there. What's that?
Have we hit the part where DS9 commits genocide yet?
No.
Okay.
There are certain elements in Starfleet that have different perspectives. As you know, I mean, we all think a little bit differently.
I know. See?
And some has like Data had his trial.
Oh yeah, that happened years
Yeah,
ago.
Pressure over man? Yeah, we'll
So
That
and
happened
just
5
be
years
aware
ago.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, there's some perspectives that certain types of beings can be property in a way, and we don't want that to happen to you.
Yes.
I certainly don't want to be property.
Because you're not. I mean, you're our friend.
We cannot offer you a permanent space here in our memory buffers, but we could search for a planet where you could live peacefully. We cannot promise
All
you.
alone? Like Robinson Crusoe?
Not
A
alone.
decidedly non-goblin character? No thanks.
Well, you wouldn't be alone depending on the planet, but it wouldn't be goblins that you'd be with.
That seems like I'm not gonna get any goblins. Well,
Well-
if I'm not supposed to be here anymore, I'll go to Earth. I mean, if they're really gonna lock me up, that doesn't sound great. But if I can visit Earth and find where the stories of goblins came from, I mean, I guess that's not bad. I'm sure I
We
can
can
make
show
more
you where-
friends there.
Is that
We
can
show you where you-
Sure.
Come from.
Well, there's a lot of, on Earth, consumers of goblin lore. I mean, there's people that really, in a way, they escape 2 fairy tales to have.
No, I've already found 2 people on your ship who are into it, and I tried some stuff with one of them.
Oh, how'd you hit it off with them?
She walked up to me.
I mean, if you would.
That's not what I'm talking. No, all I'm trying to say is listen, I understand. Your guys' hands are tied. I get that this was a mistake. I'm pretty miserable, but also, I guess I'm lucky to be alive, to just live briefly and then die, leaving no lineage or, progeny. Great. That'll be my legacy. A weird footnote in your banks. I get it. If you want me to go to Earth, if that's your orders, don't worry, I'll be fine.
It's not our orders, it's what would you prefer? Would you rather have the freedom of going somewhere else? Or do you want to go to Earth? It's up to you.
No, what I want to do, you're the only people I know. Until I meet goblins, I'd rather stay with all of you.
Well,
okay.
Why don't we talk to the captain? Because, he might have some leverage. Captains do that.
I don't think the captain really has any. I think he's kind of doing the I didn't see anything that you do.
Giles, can you hold him in sort of a limbo? Say he disapparated.
Limbo until what?
What? You want?
Sounds so real.
No, I'd rather go to Earth than be held in a teleportation buffer.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you.
Guys, I've been here a week. I've picked up how it works.
Grim, would you rather be given a planet where you can be free, no guarantee that you will have companionship of the sort that you are desiring?
I don't want to be left on a... this leaving me on a planet part is contingent on me having numerous other goblins.
It
so
sounds
without
like
other goblins, you would rather return to Earth and be studied and...
Okay.
Than stranded on a planet, or I'd rather stay here with all of you.
I think we are imposing our own beliefs.
Why?
Grim is making it very clear he does not wish for...
How about
over captivity?
We propose to Starfleet that you can go to Earth and they can examine you, and when they are done and we'll set a timeline, you can rejoin us. We've got your room already. We'll keep it exactly the way you like it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Go back to Earth.
I suppose that's all we can do.
Well,
just to clarify, you guys don't want to fight for him to stay on your ship at all. That's your.
Well, like we do, but
yeah, we're going.
You don't have to. You don't have to if you think it's better for him to. It totally.
I would like to fight for to advocate to the captain and any dissenters to see if he can remain on the ship, because that's where he's most happy.
We can't exactly go against Starfleet orders, but we can.
No, of course, but yeah. So
we'll do it all the time.
We'll end with we'll go to a scene and you guys can approach the captain. He and Maxwell are on the bridge. You guys can all walk onto the bridge. Captain says, "Good afternoon. How are things going with Grim?"
He has petitioned to stay on the ship.
Yes.
He would like to call asylum against Starfleet.
Maxwell
No way.
says, he wants to request asylum from Starfleet Command by staying on a ship of the line?
Yes.
He's made a choice. He has autonomy, and I think we could find a job for him here.
So he's asking for political asylum from a hostile force where the hostile force is Starfleet.
But he has friends that are here, and that would be us. And he would like to remain here, safe in his quarters. And that is his request.
Well, we have orders from Starfleet Medical. If you can get those orders reversed,
I'm sure we can provide all of the information that they need remotely. Right?
These
Dr.
just
Ren-
came in, by the way. He kind of pulls up a data pad and says, of course, Lieutenant Dobbs is already working this out, but he hands you a data pad, Lieutenant Commander Giles, and you look it over. Apparently, Starfleet is putting into effect immediately basically a new patch on all replicators that will prevent any organic life from being created, even accidentally, in any other circumstance.
Or exactly
No more probiotics.
Creation of life.
Yeah. So,
I'd like to know how they're regulating that.
well, it's just a little code. I mean, most people won't even know this happens. They'll just putting it in a patch. It's a little line of code. So Dr. Reynolds, you're going to advocate to Starfleet to
Yes.
let him stay? Okay. No roles are required to do that if you sort of make the case that you've made. And they're sort of like, well, if the patient has requested that,
Sure.
they'll say they're allowing that, but they definitely want to be clear. You can't do, they're saying, we know you weren't, but they certainly say, we think you may have, your interactions with the creature early on, a little more discretion might have been in order.
What discretion?
They were in Starfleet
We are
protocol.
to seek out new life,
You knew there was a
new
risk,
civilizations,
Dr. Reynolds.
and boldly go where no one has gone before.
Hold on. The Starfleet medical admiral you're talking to will give an accent. Dr. Reynolds, I completely understand. Simply, it is undeniable that...
It's Kirk.
Oh, it's just Kirk with a... Oh, I'll do something else. It's Dr. Reynolds, there were certainly some objections raised before you even interacted with this creature. If its mind was as adaptive as you say, we're not saying you've done anything wrong, we're just saying in the future, a little more caution.
What caution? We weren't teaching it to be sentient. It was sentient. We were simply giving it a voice. Is Starfleet incapable of understanding the distinction?
I fear that you might be, Dr. Reynolds.
Is a deaf child not able to express itself if you simply give it the ability to communicate?
Do you really not understand the implications of what you did?
I don't believe it's any different than giving a child who is unable to speak normally, it's even an ableist term, to speak in ways which we are accustomed to, an alternative to express itself when it does not have those avenues available to itself. That's all we did.
This was a being who was longing to communicate, and we simply gave it a way to communicate with us. That
Was it longing? And basically, what your Starfleet medical admiral will reply to that is, Counselor, was the creature longing to communicate, or were you simply longing to communicate with it? At this time, that scene will end. He's been allowed.
I hate Starfleet.
He's been allowed to stay on the ship. You also notice Maxwell having like lunch with him. She seems to really be like worried about his plight in a pretty genuine way.
Fuck Maxwell.
Oh my god, you guys, it's so interesting. I really like stuff like this. But we will sort of end with sort of Grimm saying, "I do it." He kind of looks up as you guys pass, in full impulse, as he's kind of got a drink there with Maxwell, and she just gives you a look and he goes, "I appreciate you guys letting me stay. Maxwell says there's maybe some jobs I can do on the ship."
Of course.
Maxwell didn't want us to communicate with you in the first place.
Hey,
Well, there are
doctor.
plenty of jobs. You
Here's
can work with Giles.
Listen, my doctor-patient confidentiality only extends to patients. Maxwell was not my patient at this time, so I can talk shit about Maxwell all I want.
Maxwell, he kind of like gives Maxwell a look and she says, "Oh, he's well aware that's one of the main things we talk about."
And now what?
He says, "Hey, guys, I think we need to leave these arguments in the 21st century." And And Maxwell says, "Hear, hear." And as kind of there's like an awkward beat there, Dr. Reynolds, as you sort of earnestly feel your frustration. We will cut to one brief scene. Aboard the Jupiter. Wait, shit, no. Actually, even better.
Lewis.
So
Aboard
I don't
aboard
like
the Jupiter. Sovereign class. Ooh. Lewis is speaking to her captain, saying, and I know that most of it has been sort of covered up, sir, and I know that there's now sort of prohibitions against this, but I just want to say that that in my analysis, working with the chief engineer and the operations officer, I know you were asking, sir. She hands him a data pad, just in case anyone were ever going to try. The captain sort of looks at this, the captain of the Jupiter, unseen. You hear her voice say, "Excellent. Excellent." And that's where the episode will end. Ba-da-ba-bum, bum, chicka-ba-ba-da-bum, bum, ba-da-bum, bum, 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 ba-da-bum.
all messed up.
That nice bookend there. That was good.
That was good.
So, okay, but that feels like a TNG episode, right? There's like a weird thing and it's just arguing. I was like, there's no combat. They're just gonna argue the whole night.
We did
It's gonna be
argue the whole time.
replicator malfunction. Anyway, so there you go. That's a Star Trek game. What'd you guys think of this system?
It was good.
You like this 2D20? It really does kind of make sense when you start doing it. This kind of, you're just always trying to roll low, you get more chances. Obviously,
Yeah,
when you
once
get
we
into
get
things
into
like,
it.
once you get into combat and stuff, there's way more options and reasons you'd want to save your
math?
momentum and things.
Yeah.
The math was way less complicated than I thought, although you were way faster at adding the numbers than I was.
Oh, so yeah,
So I
adding the numbers
appreciate that.
for you. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but it's not as complicated as I thought. It's basically just over under.
Yeah.
I'll also say that as someone running it, I found I was kind of daunted at the prospect of, and I guess I probably should have explained the system for people watching, but basically they have 6 attributes and 6 disciplines. Attributes are kind of like stats in D&D. Disciplines are kind of like intelligence-based, like proficiencies, things they're good at or have training in. And the idea is every roll, you're adding 1 attribute and 1 discipline, and whatever those numbers are, you add them together so that when they're big and high, it's easier to roll under them. So having high numbers and things makes it easier. But I was a little worried upon starting this that like it was going to be really hard to figure out which ones to choose every time. And honestly, it seemed intuitive as it went. Seems kind of a fun system, and I enjoy these characters. I think we should definitely return to this kind of periodically. We're talking
this
about
is
every
No, we
few
need to go
weeks.
back to it.
Yeah,
Oh, poor Grim, man.
Grim, it's a hard life. I
Grim
like it.
has a hard life.
What's fun about a thing like this, when I conceived of this idea, what's fun about it is that Grim, like, no matter what you guys do, he'll have a hard thing, and sort of someone on the crew who's opposing you will have a decent point of view, because that's Star Trek.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I mean,
I was wondering,
I want my hair
did you structure the game like an episode, just with your own creative input, or was that?
I was sort of trying to do that. Yes, I was trying to say, at this point, complication needs to be here. They do often have really long 5th acts. We probably should have had I mean, this was also a long episode for us. But, like, I should have had the thing in the holodeck, which probably should have been in 4. But, you know, it's fine. And the teaser was long, but we were all getting our bearings. It's fine. I think as we go on, I'll be able to. But I really like doing it in acts, like it's an episode of Next Generation.
No, it was great. It actually, this episode, because, you know, we watch Star Trek every night. This will be an episode I remember, and I'm like, I want to watch it again.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I enjoy this.
It's not an easy answer episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, the
It's a Tuvix episode.
parallel is very apt.
We just got. Did we get a raid?
Oh, we have a raid. Oh, hello. Hello,
hi.
Raiders. We
Hi.
just
Where did you
wrapped
raid
up
from?
a very TNG Star Trek episode.
Wait,
Yeah.
where did you raid from?
We got a raid
From-
from Distal's place.
Thank you
howdy.
so much.
Thank you so much for hopping in.
Welcome.
We just finished up an episode of a TNG style Star Trek Adventures game in which the crew, through an accident, caused a biological creature to inadvertently be created by a replicator.
He was a goblin.
Replicant was the title. Although the title might have been Grim, like if someone had written it and then named it, but whatever. The title probably was Replicant. So basically we
I
did
loved that his name ended up being Grim, though.
It was great. Grimm's Fairy Tale. It was perfect. That was really fun. I really enjoyed. I liked a lot of stuff. I thank you, by the way, for bringing Ensign Lewis into this. Actually, excuse me, it's now Lieutenant Lewis.
Oh yeah, I knew that as an engineer, I had to have issues with relationships, and that was basically the only card I had up my sleeve.
I think it's really fun if you keep playing this character. If every week there's another woman who you're like pining after, and it is always causing some kind of trouble one way or another.
So is
basically
this
he's Jordan.
Yeah, he was very Jordy. So is this like a quarterly
that's
thing?
our dog's name.
Or
I mean, I do think Friday makes sense for it, so maybe it's a monthly thing in place of some blood from a stone. We can figure that out. But yeah, it's I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed this. I thought this actually
this
was
was a lot of fun.
This is fun.
And
Yeah.
Wait, do you?
Do I?
I didn't know
Do I
that
watch
about
Star
you.
Was I sitting here being like, well, actually, it's called.
Yeah, for those of y'all who haven't been here the entire time, we all had Starfleet uniforms from different eras. But our
Everyone
GM
buy a
here,
TNG for next week.
Next time I will have a TNG. I will have an actual TNG uniform ready.
I'll just get a white T-shirt and draw it on.
Amen. Yeah, no, that was really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this, you guys.
It's not as confusing as I thought it would be. Like the math is there, but it's not super complex.
I like this system. And a thing will actually maybe there's a time we could do this on. Maybe we could do this on a thing, or maybe we could impart. We'll try to find a time to do this on stream. I'd love to have at least one or two of you. We should rebuild your characters by the rules, because the character creation process for this, they were all just playing pre-gens tonight, but the character creation process for this looks really cool. So I would love to like let you guys build these characters and change some things if you need to about them or whatever. It would be really fun to like build your characters more fully so that you also understand, because if you build them, you'll know all the things you can do. So this was really fun. Let's talk about other fun things. Go to our About page here on Twitch to see all of the amazing things that our various players get up to. Go to our Discord. I think I type this, and that causes social. Somebody saying play Tuvix. You just arrived. Oh, this episode, everyone was saying, had serious Tuvix vibes. It involved a creature was inadvertently created in a replicator overload, and they sort of wound up communicating with it, and it sort of gained intelligence, and then it wanted others like it, and they couldn't create more, so it was sort of like it. So that was the fun here.
Shout outs.
Please, shout outs, yes.
Yeah, we had tons of new followers tonight. Like, I can't even count them all, but they were like, I feel like 20 or 30 new followers.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome. From Disciple's Place, which is super awesome. Tip Turtle was cheering with a bunch of bits.
That's from my TikTok, thank you.
Thank you for the bits, that's so kind of you.
Yeah, Apostrophe This coming through with some bits. We had Minnesota Twins give out a gift tonight. We had Ben Hader cheering with some bits tonight, and then again just tons of new followers, which is super awesome. And we just got another follower right now from Opie.
Right now, also, right here on our stage.
I want to thank everybody who came over from my TikTok. I don't know if y'all are still here, but thank you so much for coming in and getting context, because I know it's hard. And from Livestream too. I know it's hard to like get what's going on from one side. So thanks for coming over.
It's amazing. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you all. Go to our Discord. We post, I think I will do recaps of these.
Yes.
because they seem like they'll be fun. So we post recaps of all our games, so go to our Discord, join us there. We'll post recaps. We post, when we're going live, we're pretty, like, if you ask us questions, we'll answer on there usually. So, please ask about the games. We'll set up a place for the Star Trek stuff specifically. We have some new shows. Tomorrow we have a show. Do you want to talk about it?
Yes, 2
Or should
p.m.
I mansplain it on your behalf?
No, thank you. Please. So we have Long Lost Loves with Liv and Lauren. So it's going to be me and Liv, just talking about being nerds, growing up, the stuff that we loved. Tomorrow is our first episode. I will let everyone know we are not going to be responding to comments while we are in the meat of the episode, but we will have a talk back afterward. Because we are actually going to be posting this as a podcast. So more on that later. And I don't want to edit things out, like us responding to things in the chat, but we will answer questions afterward.
That's so interesting, because that means...
If you like nostalgia-driven stuff, it's the show for you.
Yeah.
That's such a
we started this idea because we were like, oh my gosh, the X-Men animated series is on Disney Plus,
and they're reviving it and creating new episodes, and we got very excited, and then we started talking about various things. So if you like Ready Player One, if you like anything nostalgia driven 90s specific,
David the Gnome, Nickelodeon, Disney.
We say 90s, but we're gonna touch on 80s stuff and aught stuff too, because I'm like all about the D&D cartoon. And we have some 2000 stuff. I mean, we have some Michelle Branch to talk about. So like, there's a lot to talk about.
Yep. So tune in tomorrow, 2 p.m. PST, first episode.
Absolutely.
And we'd love to see y'all there. Long Lost Loves.
Long Lost Loves.
And there's other stuff.
Long Lost Loves with the ladies of Long Lost lore.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Sometimes the guys, but
That's really funny. Okay, so that's tomorrow, 2 p.m. Pacific. Then, Sunday, new game begins. If you like Star Trek, you don't necessarily like Star Wars, but you might. We have a new Star Wars game. It is being living forced not by me, but by Pierce. It is called A More Wretched Hive, and it is about musicians just trying to make some money playing for the Hutts. That's going to be fun. I'm going to be a player in that one. I'm super excited to play, because in case you can't guess, I almost never play anymore on account of,
you love attention, and you do play, but you play as multiple characters.
I love it. Your explanation for why I don't play is I love attention. It's not that I'm so busy running games and it's hard to find games to play in. And
that too.
Okay. Sure.
They're not mutually exclusive.
There's just no DMs good enough for you. You're the best.
Well, I appreciate the sentiment, but there's plenty. I'm always very happy to play with many DMs. It's always a lot of fun. Okay. That's going to be Sunday. Going to be fun. Star Wars game. But then on Monday, we'll have our second session of a Star Wars game that I am super excited about. I thought that first session was rad as hell.
It was so fun.
If anyone would like to see Lauren and Dan, who was here earlier in our broadcast, he had to step out. But if you'd ever like to see Lauren and Dan as a divorced couple whose kids just disappeared, and you want to see Lauren say mean things to Dan, I recommend watching Civilized Age, our Star Wars game that takes place in the future of the Star Wars thing. So it's hundreds of years after the movies. I'm going fanfic crazy. It's super fun. We have some other really interesting characters. A lot of big reveals have not even occurred on that show yet. I strongly recommend it. It's also kind of, one thing I really liked about tonight, and it's the thing I'm really trying to do on the Monday game too, is this felt very like, I'm trying to have things that feel a little more like movie or episode, like, kind of give that narrative structure, and that game had that as well. So we're doing in that one for the Star Wars, I'm trying to do like wipes. I should probably put a wipe effect in, but we're like, anyway, we wipe to this thing like in a Star Wars movie. So that's some super fun stuff. So yeah, definitely check those out. Then on Tuesday we've got Murder by Murder, our Agatha Christie game. Very fun. And then a week from tonight, guys, We're going in Blood from a Stone. We're going to Voluptua. The system for Voluptua is ridiculous. I've come up with a system. I've been kind of busy getting Star Trek set up this week, and I had some other work going on, but like, I'm going to finalize the system for Voluptua. It's so stupid. I've built a system because Voluptua...
Tell them about it.
Well, I think I will, actually. Voluptua is basically a haunted... Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue or 80s Playboy or Skinamax movie. So I have now developed an RPG system that uses foreplay dice. So our players, you guys can either put stickers on D6s or we'll have a translation table. But basically, you're going to roll dice, and if you roll like blow, neck, that means that tells us something about whether or not you picked the lock.
Okay.
So, like, you can tickle a lock open? Or
Well,
lick
Jiggle,
no, you are not. So, okay,
Jiggle.
think of it like tarot cards. Like lick is going to have...
This is an 18 and over channel.
It's an 18 hour channel.
Reminder.
Just know what you're getting into.
It's the idea is... No, like, here's the idea. So, like, yes, like, there will be options of, like...
Yeah, yes, you will be scarred for life.
Yeah,
but in a different way.
Please watch it, but it will scar you. So, like, for example, like, tickle. That is going to have, like, a word cluster of, like, of relevant terms with it. So, like, tickle means you're being strategic, you're being careful, you're being dexterous. So that means when you roll that, whichever of those is appropriate for a situation. It doesn't mean you're literally tickling a nipple.
Every time
it just
I roll
means
tickle, I'm gonna say, "Don't mind if I diddly do." And
then say it. We'll all be happy for it. We're fine. This is probably the worst idea I've had, and yet I can't not do this. Because if we're going to a thing that's supposed to be that kind of world, when I was like, what dice game could it be? When I remembered those
Lauren,
dice from Spencer's
if you
Gifts.
say diddly do to me, I will say diddly you to you.
diddly us.
Yes, diddly
Wait,
you.
what's the Lionel Richie, like, diddly you, diddly me? Say you, say me? What's that song? Say you, say me, say it Broadway? Isn't that the way it should be? Hold on.
It's gonna be bad.
Say you, say me. You guys don't know that song? Say
I
it
totally
Broadway. Okay.
I do not.
I had a dream. I had an awesome dream. I remember that lyric in it.
Oh,
People
God.
at the park
All right,
playing
let's
game.
wrap this up before it takes us down to very dark.
Oh my God, you guys don't like Lionel Richie?
No, we do. We just
but like,
aren't familiar with his entire anthology.
I
That's
don't know
fair.
this one.
It's a really good song, you guys.
I know it.
Everyone listen to it. On that note,
we'll go find
wait. But on that note, there's actually, I'm so excited whenever we play a game and I actually have a thing that you can say at the end of a Star Trek episode. There's an actual phrase I get to say. You know, like a famous phrase. I get to say. Wait, shit. I just thought of another famous phrase.
Wait,
What should
by the way, everybody in the chat, we're winding down. We're ending.
we are winding down. We're ending. Oh, I think we're gonna raid. Once we go to our closing thing, we are gonna raid as well.
Yeah.
What is the what should it be? Should we live long and prosper? Should we make it so? Should it be engage? Should it be the force will be with you always? What should I say?
No.
See you later, baby.
See you later, baby.
Oh,
Our man Bashir.
Yes.
My people will always ask me because, like, I have a Trek Talk account. Full disclosure, people are like, "What's your favorite line from Star Trek?" And they think it's gonna be deep. No, it's "See you later, baby," but said specifically like that by.
how about logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end?
That's
Logic is the beginning
It's
of
too much.
That's
See you
it's
later.
too
okay,
funny.
but we'll go in that direction. Everyone, thank you all
Good.
so much for watching. Stick around. We're going to go on a raid to For David Blue.
Yes.
yes.
Very good. So we'll check that out. Until next time, live long and prosper. Good night.
See you later, baby.